25 to 30 seconds from Team Tate now. What were the black flags for?
We don't know exactly. We don't know. But it was around a point. It was a very dramatic couple of minutes at 2:46 in the morning where we saw MS Lucas Racing lose the lead, then pretty much regain it straight away on the same lap because a black flag came out for TTM.
Which is interesting because they both received black flags earlier in the race and both at the same time as well.
Yeah.
So, just shadowing each other, is that the game?
Sorry, the number 42 was off the road.
Oh, right.
Here at hairpin 2.
Okay.
And it was just like, okay, well that's very rare to see Jess Alexander off the road. We don't know what the cause was, though.
Yep.
It was one of those where you looked up and went,
oh, there's Jess
that
Alexander.
Can't be Jess off the road. Yes, it was.
Okay.
But yes, no, they did retake the lead pretty much straight away because that was the point at which TTM had a black flag as well.
So Lucas didn't receive a black flag?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay, right. No. So they were off the road.
Yep.
TTM received a second black flag, but they are still in second place and have just taken the lead. We'll wait for Jess to trip the line and give you trip the timing line and give you a gap. There we go, in fact. 11.2 seconds is now the gap, first to second. Team Tate owes a pit stop in around about 25 minutes, maybe a little bit more with the weather, around about probably half an hour's time, and that will shake out.
A very quick hello and welcome back to viewers on the DDMM Comms Box live stream. This is us to the end of the race now on this link, touch wood. As long as everything works, and it has been working so far, so we'll touch wood again. Thank you very much for joining us here in the middle of the night. Andrew Mather and Tom Butterworth on commentary duties for you. There is a yellow light on ahead of us here, and that's because there's an incident right in front of us. That is quite a significant one here on start-finish for the, it's one of the higher karts. It's number 96. Now,
gone in hard down here.
Very hard, and that is there's damage to the Nassau panel as well. I think that's coming on the pit straight, I think, and then gone off driver's right. But the tyres are sprayed everywhere, and say the Nassau panel is caved in on the front of this kart. That is going to need a trip back. It's the Veterans Motorsports, and drivers need to be very careful here, and they're going to go round again. It's off as another kart right in front of us. It's number 3. That's Omega Racing. Now,
fully lost it on the start-finish line. Hit the tyres, couldn't get it going again, just tyres slipping on the wet. And he's going again now. And that was under yellow flag conditions as well. So not the best for Omega Racing.
I would not be surprised if a full course yellow comes out here because there's a lot of tyres to be rearranged here right in front of us in the commentary box at start-finish, not just for drivers going down towards D chicane, but also from the other side as well. Work being covered with a single waved yellow flag at the moment. Well, effectively double waved yellows because you've got the light there as well.
You've got it. It's yellow flags all the way round to start-finish.
Yep.
So it's half the track is now covered by yellow flags while they do this repair.
And
so
on the other side as well, on the approach through the wiggles.
Hairpin 1, hairpin 3 and start finish are all covered under yellow flags. That's Tom Murray that's out for offline at the moment. Back out for, I think that's either a third or a fourth stint. This time he has got his rain suit on, thankfully for him, because he went out when it first started raining in the evening.
The number 56 has gone off as well on through the wiggles there. Very, very treacherous conditions, but fantastic work by the marshals. They have managed to get that tyre barrier back into position very, very quickly and prevent the need for another full course yellow. Top marks to that effort there. The number 56, just to remind you, was the piston broke kart that has been off there.
I think we're all right if we do it as piston
broke.
And yes, if there's a notable gap, I think we're okay. It's when we try and put it all together that that's when YouTube are going to get cross with us.
7 hours and 37 to go. For some of the drivers out there, they will be just hoping and praying at the moment that this rain
Willis is
as Howard
113
predicted, is going to end, because this is some of the heaviest rain that we've seen in the last few hours. Apparently, according to our sources, there's going to be a break in the rain in 46 minutes' time.
Long stop for MS Car Shop.
Yeah, it's just not been falling into place for them for the last few hours.
No, seems to be dropping away. They had a 1 minute 56 lap, which hints at an off somewhere.
Yeah.
That's around about 18-second loss in time. So that hints at an off, and that's now been in the pit lane for coming up on 9 minutes.
For those of you watching on the DDMM stream, we have got the commands in operation. So if you comment !Brit24, Brit24 timing, got a link to the live timing as well. !Alpha Live for a link to the main stream. And hello if you're watching on the main stream. Hello to Ryan, who is in kart 67 right now. We'll try and work that out for you, Ryan. We continued support if you're still watching here on Alpha Live.
We
Very
will be
treacherous conditions out there on circuits.
We will be better finding out when there's daylight. I've got to be honest with you, Ryan, because trying to pick out numbers as they come past the commentary box at about 50 miles an hour in the dark is proving quite tricky for us here.
We'll have a go.
However, we just had the shot on camera there of the start-finish line. The static camera that we've got there at the moment, and you can see the skill involved in these conditions. All the drivers running slick tyres only on track. No wet tyres available. Keeps it nice and even. Also means you have to be incredibly skillful. It is like driving on ice. There is no other way to put it. The back end of the kart will overtake the front. The front end of the kart won't turn. So you end up going into hairpin 4 as they drive towards us here. They're heading into hairpin 4. They will go full lock, and around about half an hour later, the front end will grip and turn in. So they're almost turning in as they come out of hairpin 3, and then just waiting for the kart to eventually grip with a bow wave off the front of it, and eventually it'll turn the corner. Then when you come out, when you try and get on the throttle, we've got full course yellow. Full course yellow again. We're not sure what this one is for. Red Graphics is parked in the pit as well with no driver there.
I'm gonna go for a punt here on Swindon Karting Arena. I think it's Adam Stainer in the kart. Haven't got his helmet colours, but his suit colours are black and green, and that's the same as the helmet that's in the moment. I'm going on the basis that I bet Adam is a very, fashionable.
Oh, he likes to coordinate.
Yeah, coordinate. That's the word. But yeah, so full course yellow is out. Race circuit is neutralised. Who's near a pit stop time? Who could take advantage of this? I think 303 Racing and
Rosso
they are doing.
Corsa.
Yeah, they could take advantage of this. Rosso Corsa could if they wanted to. 1 hour and 12.
SMJC, MS Scorcher. SMJC, this could work very well for. They've been out for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So that could work very well for them. If their driver's ready, of course. But that could give them even more of a lead. MS Scorcher now scored us on the same lap, and they've both been out pretty much the same amount of time. So 46 seconds between SMJC in the lead of Owner Club. Goodness me, Tom, wake up. Owner Club and MS Scorchio. So the Owner Clubman is still up for grabs. JDM look fairly comfortable in third in that class at the moment, but 303 are only a lap or so behind. Maybe a couple of laps behind. MS Car Shop back out. So good news for them. MS Car Shop back out in 12th place. They are 15 laps off the lead. Still being held by Team Tate, although they owe us a pit stop net. How is this going to shake out over the next 7.5 hours as to who needs to do one more pit stop and who doesn't? We'll find out, but I've got a feeling that this will just go to and fro now between Tate and MS Lucas.
Yeah, from my back of paper calculations, I don't think the time delta is significant enough to separate those two karts from how many stops they've got left. But there will be a little bit in terms of time needed in the box to get the sufficient amount of fuel. The number 96 needs to come into the pits, I'm afraid. The number 96 is running without any NASA panel at all now. That was the car that we saw off a few minutes ago here at start finish. I'm trying to find where the 176 is, Receding Racing, because I had a query as to who is in that kart.
As predicted, pits are fairly busy. MS Scorchio are in, 303 Racing we mentioned, X Racing also in, Honolulu.
Leaders in, 318 going into the pit bay.
Well, Honolulu are also in. They're your leader in hires. They've taken advantage of this full course yellow. Although it looked like I think they've been in a few minutes here. Race for Ruben also have dropped down the order somewhat.
Yeah, start to see those pro entries mixing it up with the elites.
What's happened to Race for Ruben? They were second in class when I came back on, and now they're fourth in hires. Still second in higher elites, but they're now fifth, actually. SKA Racing, JS Racing, and Honolulu Racing have all moved in front. So we'll find out what's happened to Race for Ruben.
The recovery quad bike just came in the pit exit, no cut on it, so potentially a breakdown.
Okay, that's the voice in my ears telling me that the recovery quad came back into the pit lane minus a kart. So potentially a couple have stopped out there. One's been dropped off and another one being collected. Unfortunately, we don't have any shots of the back of the circuit at the moment. We are green and racing again. Although we've still got a yellow flag at hairpin 3. Somebody had gone off there. So it's been covered by a local, even though we've now gone racing. There we go, and that's away now. So green flag.
That was full course yellow number 19, if I'm still counting correctly. There's a big group of cars coming down towards us at start finish, and lots more spray being kicked up as well.
20 according to our list.
Oh, okay.
So we've cracked into the 20s in terms of full course yellows. Great news though, no red flags.
Touch wood. Wood has been touched.
Knocking on my head. Tates have been in.
Bottom of the hour, aren't we? So let's do a rundown. We've actually flipped, so you're aware, Butters. So we're going to do the hires this time.
Okay.
So let's have a review, because things have changed quite a bit in the last few minutes. Leader of the race in hire, currently in the pit lane though, Honolulu by Saints in 27th place overall. They've completed 654 laps. SKA Racing now in second place, first of the pros, 1 lap back, but that may be about to change if we've not seen the Honolulu by Saints number 25 come back out yet. Is there a problem there for the race leaders? We'll know very shortly. The 111 JS Racing are in third place. They're on the same lap, 19 seconds behind Scar Racing. Honolulu Racing 1, that's the first of the karts from that squad in pro. They're next up, fourth amongst the hires, third in pro, 7.2 seconds behind JS Racing. Race for Ruben are next up, fifth in hire, second of the elites, 1 minute 39 behind the 058 of Honolulu Racing 1, so that's the 095 kart there. We then find Teesside Racing, who've been absolutely stellar through the last few hours. They are 6th in hire, 1st in club, and going along very quickly indeed. Next, it's the 1130 of Core Blimey Racing, 113, 34th place overall for them. 35th at the A66 hire team, that's the O66 kart. 36th place is the number 55 of Honolulu, Friend by Saints. So that's another one of the pro entries running nicely in the top 10.
Just to cut across that, I've just been having a look at that. TYS Racing are going so quickly at the moment. They're actually going quicker than some of the owner karts.
I did see that with the little
with
bar
the
that was going
conditions.
across. No, you're absolutely right. 1 minute 43. They really are flying along.
That was quicker than MS Kart Shop's last lap. Quicker than
Will have been affected by the
Mad
full course yellow ending,
Motorsport.
though.
Quicker than Blue Speed Racing. Quicker than A66. Quicker than TSG Karting. Quicker than Rethink Racing. Quicker than Alessia. All of those are owner karts. TYS pounding around 143.4.
They very much are putting themselves
Just thought that was
in
worth
contention.
bringing to your attention.
Yeah. Carrying on then, so that was TOS Racing 33rd, 34th for Core Blimey Racing 113. Where were we up to? EDKT 37th place for them at the moment, 1.7 seconds behind Honolulu. 38th is the O77 of Scenario 77. 39th overall is the 181 of CSM Racing. The Teesside Tigers currently in the pits in the number 1, inside the top 40, well within the top half of the hires. Boom leading in hire novice and are smashing it at the moment. Their lead in class, I've got it some 6 laps for the number 65 of Boom in 41st place overall, and they're ahead of a number of higher club teams, such as the 42nd place 200 of Boneheads, the 43rd number 9 kart of Newmarket Hornets, Norfolk and Chance.
Breaking news.
Yep.
Honolulu are in with a major problem.
Yep.
They've now dropped out of the lead of hires overall, and they're now in 4th in hires.
So
Still leading higher elite, but Race for Ruben are coming round, and they're going to take that off them very quickly unless they can get out. But Honolulu in with a serious problem.
So that means that Swindon Karting Arena go to the top of the order in hire. Pro karts, in fact, pro karts are 1, 2, 3 at the moment ahead of the elite field. Let's carry on with the rundown of our hire entries. Norfolk and Chance are in 44th place. The Bonato team in 45th. They're nicely coming into things now. Could it be their year? Could they get on the class podium? Still a long way to go. 46th place, the number 57 of Prime 57. 47th, the 888 of Good Chip. They've just taken that position away from the 74 of Maple Motorsport. Eat, Sleep, Race Repeater in 49th. ABC Racing complete the top 50 overall. All of these are in the top half of hire. Tockwith Motorsports are in 51st. Lock, Stock and 2 are in 52nd. That's the 696. V3 Racing are in 2nd place in novice.
Somebody off at hairpin 1.
Yep. Another one off at hairpin 1. So the 088 of V3 Racing doing nicely there. Coulda, woulda, shoulda of 3rd place in novice at the moment. The number 69 in 54th place overall. Century Sim Racing starting to come back up the order as well. The number 59 now in 56th. It's then our Honolulu Juniors are 57th overall, one of the novices, just on the outside of the novice podium positions at the moment. They've got past Badger's Best Racing. They've just completed a pit stop. They're in 58th place overall, trying to fend off the number 29 of Chadwick Racing in 59th. Newmarket Buzzin' Hornets, the number 19, complete the top 60 overall. They are ahead of the 0213 of Core Blimey Racing, 213. Porsche Sport, the 590, are in 62nd position. They are 2 laps ahead of the receding Racing 172. LC Racing continuing to run strongly in novice at the moment. They're in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th, 6th place in novice in the 143. They're in 64th place overall. Lads Racing are next up. Another novice entry, the number 75 and 65th, currently in the pits. BCW Mulsanne Racing, the 036 are in 66th place, ahead of the 777 of Up the Rear in 67th. Simtech Super Pink. We had one of their team members in the comms box earlier having a chat about how things are going for Simtech. Well, at the moment they're in 68th place with the 666. Garage 29 Graphics are next up in 69th place. That's the 629. And completing the top 70 overall, CFK Granada, who have built through this race. They had a tough first couple of hours. A few spins, a few spills, but they're moving up the order now as well, having completed 626 laps. Corblimey Racing 313 are next up in 71st. The 555 of the renowned Vankels, that's the one in the livery in the homage to the 1991 Le Mans 24-hour winning Mazda 787B. They are moving back through the order as well, have recently had a pit stop. They were down in the 90s, they're now into the low 70s. BTM, the 033, are next up in 73rd. Piston Broke are the number 56 kart in 74th. They've had a few offs in the last hour or so. Simtek Spinala are not spinning at the moment. They're in 75th place and they're number 12. Then Team BPR are 20 seconds behind them in the number 81 and 76. Rethink Racing, actually hang on, they're two owners, so ignore them. Next up in 78th place of the highest is Century Sim Evolution. That's the novice team from Century Sim. They are 8 seconds ahead of the Cheshire Karts, the 969 in 79th. Steel City Racers are in 80th place and they're number 46, and they're ahead by 2 laps of the 999 of Straight Through Crew in 81st. Barp are in 82nd, the 130, ahead of the Veterans Motorsport UK Karts. Did have a bit of a big off about 20 minutes or so ago in their number 96, they were in 83rd. The Optimist, ever the Optimist, are in 84th place in the number 23. Stilts Racing behind them, 85th in the number 92. Before we find Corblimey Racing 413, their novice entry in 86th. Bottas Boys are in 88th, still circulating round. They're in the 541. 90th place for Full Throttle Racing in the 201. A few of these karts going in the pits. The Dukes of Stafford still pounding round Butter's, our favourite team in terms of team name, in the 119. And then we find Simtech UK in the pits, in the 420, and 24 Hours for Diabetes UK, the 0133 in 96. That is all. That is the order of all of your higher entries, with 7 hours and 20 minutes of the race to go. Live.alphatiming.co.uk/24HR for all your live timing information.
The car off at Hairpin 1 was LC Racing, now currently scored in 64th place. Love that top, by the way, Adam. Leeds.
Oh,
Leeds.
I feel ill.
It's anyway. Adam's just come in and revealed that he's wearing a football top, which has gone down very well with one half of the commentary team, and like a lead balloon.
It's not the sweets and the coffee that's making me feel sick.
Anyway, LC Racing went off at Hairpin 1. Now, they are in higher novice, and just to highlight the difference between the higher novices and the higher elites, what happened there was jumped out of the cart, spent around a minute, maybe a minute and a half, trying to fire the engine back up by pulling the cord. Eventually, the marshal was able to make his way safely across the track. About 90 seconds of frantic pulling from the driver to restart the engine. Marshal comes over, turns the engine on, pulls it once, and away he goes.
Yep.
So jumping out of the car has clearly knocked the engine off and not realised. That's contributing to that, of course, is the hour of the day as well.
Yeah.
Massive tiredness. Probably been out there quite a while. In fact, probably about 15 minutes into the stint, but will be coming off the back of maybe an hour or so sleep and straight into the cart. So yeah, that not helping the situation, but lost about a minute and a half. Lesson there is turn the engines on when you get back in. Breaking news at the front, Team Tate are back in the pits after a very short stint.
That is a very short
stint.
Happened
there. Well, I haven't seen any yellow flags anywhere.
No.
It's certainly in the front half of the circuit, but Team Tate did a 149. Well, which again indicates incident.
Incident and problem. This could be another big moment in the story of this race. We've got yellow flags were out momentarily for the D chicane. just been told as well about Rethink Racing in that we think they've had a chassis breakage on them, so that's why the 103 is a long way down and likely to be out of this race. But we're just focusing here on TTM because this, as we say, is not scheduled. They've broken the... we know they're in the pits because we've got the little pit symbol to note that the car has...
They only came in during that full course yellow.
Yeah.
So they
lost
very
2
much
laps already.
unscheduled. 2 laps in. MSJSR are potentially going to overtake them for second place. Offline Motorsport also in the pits. That's
not
unscheduled
scheduled either. No, so it's very much...
It's a war of attrition out there, isn't it?
Yeah, attrition and persistence, I think, are the words that spring to mind today, and how you need to approach this race in terms of level of risk. There's a lot going on out there, and it's not necessarily about speed. It's about keeping yourself running as the Rethink Racing 104 goes into the pit lane in front of us here in the comms box.
Next, Team Tate are back out now.
Okay.
Lost 2 laps, but they are back out. Black flag for the 96. 96.
That's the veterans.
Okay.
Now, that was the kart that had the quite big off. And we did note earlier that they were running around without a Nassau panel, so probably had to come in. Race for Ruben in. This is one of the key entries in Higher Elite. In fact, I'm going to note that down.
And they didn't manage to overhaul Honolulu.
Yeah, 7 hours 15 is when they came in. Or in terms of time remaining. Because of course we still don't know exactly when they pit because their transponder isn't working. But they are going round.
Yeah, they're not tripping the pit lane, so it looks like they've done a 16-hour, 27-minute stint. Anyway, they well, it said pit. And now it doesn't. I'm very confused. 2 minute 6 second lap. Not sure what's happened there. You said they come in, didn't you?
Who?
Race for Ruben.
Yes, I've literally just seen them come in.
Okay, well they've done a 2 minute 6 second lap, which again indicates incident somewhere. That's scenario 77 being pushed through the pit lane. Looks like a fairly normal stop for them at the moment, but race for Ruben in 2 minute 6 second lap. So something's happened out there on circuit for them. They hadn't managed to overhaul Honolulu for the lead of Higher Elites before that incident, and they are now back in the pits. So looks like Higher Elite, barring any problems for Honolulu, might well go their way. JS Racing now leading Higher Pro. Honolulu Racing 1 in second and SKA Racing third. So there's been a change in Higher Pro as well, with through the pit stops, SKA Racing dropping down to third place. They are 53 seconds behind Honolulu Racing. Honolulu Racing in Higher Pro are only 2.8 seconds, and we've gone full course yellow. 2.8 seconds off the overall lead in Hires. So Hires is kicking off at the moment. TYS Racing still quietly going about their business in the lead of Higher Club.
And the Triple One, another team that we haven't talked about a lot, currently leading in, well, not just Higher Pro, but overall as well. The team of Jack Dodworth, Josh Greaves, Scott Bruce, and James Binks. A 4-driver crew there. Just trying to work out what the latest course of this full course yellow is. The quad bike of shame is on the move, I can see. Okay, right, we've got 2 carts off.
Did you call it that earlier on?
What,
the quad bike of shame?
Yeah.
Is that what we called it earlier on? Because somebody said that in the YouTube comments, and it didn't sound right to me. I didn't think
what I'm calling it.
Because we have the marker of doom, obviously, which we've only had to apply to, I think, a couple so far.
So at least one cart's being put onto the quad bike trailer. Now I'm not sure whether this one is fuel or not, because we've got 2 karts off in the same region of the circuit. Poor driver that's having to wait.
That's a yellow suit. That could well be one of the Century Sims.
Yes. Well, let's see who's falling down the order, who's not circulating out there. Well, you say that the number 59 Century Sim Racing kart is losing positions, so I think you might be onto something there, Butters. That is going to be...
They have quite distinctive mustard yellow suits, don't they? So that's unfortunate. We'll try and figure out who the other car is that's down there.
So one of the carts being
recovered.
recovered.
That's an owner.
I think it could be an owner as well, because it's not got as big bodywork as the others.
I can't see the... I need to bring...
So yeah, the 59 on the quad bike now, that is in the pits now.
So is 59 Century Sim?
That was Century Sim.
Hey!
We got that one.
Good catch. Happy with that one. How's that?
Good stuff indeed. And if we reckon this is one of the owners, not seeing any of our significant owners going down the order. This is almost akin to old pusher kart days experienced in Club 100, where you could stand for an eternity to get restarted and pushed back into the race. That's what's happening to the driver on the exit of hairpin number 1.
It's usually a giveaway because you can see the ticker going across, and A66 doesn't have a ticker moving across on lap.
Well spotted. So it could be
that's usually a giveaway. Rethink and Alessia are both in the pits. Omega Racing were back in the pits, are now back out. That was a 3-minute lap for them, so they must have had about 45 seconds. So potentially change of tyres for Omega Racing, although definitely unscheduled.
Quad bike is back at hairpin number 1. Quick turnaround from the crew here. Very strange to have 2 karts both stop. Normally we see the quad bike come out because someone's run out of fuel.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case in this one.
That is an owner.
Unless we have had two karts both at the same time, both run out of fuel. Pretty remarkable.
Unfortunately, the light isn't helping us here with any kind of colours or anything like that. Is it the A66? It's got a very distinctive colour scheme.
We'll see in a short moment's time. The kart being recovered now. They'll
still not triggered on the ticker, and they're not showing us in the pits. So they're going to come past us here, and we'll give you an update on who that is that's been into the tyre wall on the exit of hairpin 1, just as they come past us. Still under full course yellow. There may need to be some tyre barrier repairs as well, so we could be under full course yellow for a minute or 2 more yet as they wait for a gap in the traffic for the quad bike.
Big long train of cars formed now going over start finish, as you can see on your Alpha Live TV pictures. It is
slightly brighter on the camera than it actually is to the naked eye. It is the A66. I'll find out who is in that one at the moment. I think that's Paul Swan. He's got the black and red helmet, so that could well be Paul Swan.
Yep.
Who's come a cropper in that one. Seems to be okay. But the car into pit lane, and we'll keep an eye on when they're going to be heading out. So 5 minutes 39. So that has triggered, as it went over the start-finish line, it has triggered the lap time. Of course, it's not triggered that it's gone into the pits, but it has gone over the start-finish line. So 5 minutes 39 second lap, and we are back to racing. 2 laps between Team Tate and MS Lucas now because of their issues for Team Tate. They're almost on the same pit stop schedule now.
Yep.
JSR are around about half an hour difference. They are currently 3rd overall, a minute and 6 seconds behind Team Tate. So they're on the same lap. Nexus Sport very, very quietly going about their business. Black flag for the number 3 of Omega Racing.
and for the 8 of GrabX Pro. Oh, now that's a big one. That's a really big one for the number 8.
Second in class.
Second place in Pro. I wonder if these are some OTY penalties coming in.
Well, Omega Racing have only just gone back out.
Yep.
So...
it's big spin. Big spin through the wiggles, and it's one of the owner carts that's gone off.
That's offline. That's Tom Murray and offline.
Third place in Pro, caught the curb, the final curb through the wiggles. Big plume of water went up. Oh, now the driver slipped over, trying to recover the kart back onto circuit. That is how treacherous the conditions are. That was a high speed off, Butters. Driver's okay back on circuit, but it is really, really tricky out there with some of these puddles that now. This is the thing that sometimes happens. I think the rain has, in terms of intensity, has gone down a touch, but there's some very, very big puddles in those curbs. And if you get your line ever so slightly, we're talking half a kart width here, to the left or to the right, things go very wrong very quickly.
And that might be a big reprieve for GrabX as well. If GrabX have been in or are about to come in,
there's another kart off in hairpin number 1.
Then that could let offline's excursion there. That could let them off the hook. 2-minute 4-second lap. They're currently out there doing 152s, so only really a 12-second loss.
Yeah.
Despite Tom's antics in the grass, getting the kart back on track. But yeah, not that big a loss for them, all things considered. Now, now we're back under racing. Yeah, about 22, 23 seconds.
More like something in the 20s.
Yeah. GrabX are in now to serve that black flag. So let's see where they come out in relation to offline. We've got black flag going out again for Omega Racing. Clearly they haven't seen it as they've gone past again. So that'll stay out for pretty much until they come in. Not sure what that was for. Of course, they were in the pits for a long time. So it's either my bets will be speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah. Yep.
You have to go at a walking pace. If you do not travel at walking pace and a marshal clocks you, you will be black flagged. We've seen it all, even through practice, we've seen drivers black flagged for speeding in the pit lane. Safety is paramount when it comes to all racing, of course, but especially in the pit lane because there's a lot of people down there. Some of them are relatively inexperienced when it comes to this kind of event, and we want everybody to get home nice and safely. Change for the lead in hires. Overall, change for the lead. Honolulu Racing 1 have taken the lead from JS Racing and have pulled 7 seconds on them already in that one lap. So potential excursion for JS Racing. They lost 13 seconds that lap. I've just been handed a note. Yeah, JS Racing lost 13 seconds on that lap, so they've had an excursion somewhere. That's handed the overall higher class to Honolulu Racing 1 in higher pro. So our three higher pros then head the higher elite of Honolulu. We've got 3 Honolulu teams here, and potentially even 4, I think, Honolulu teams here. And there is 4 Honolulu teams here. They've all got the same national panel, which is really confusing, and also they're all called Honolulu. So yeah, our Belgian contingent not helping us out particularly in commentary, but they are showing very well here in the race, as they usually do. Honolulu Racing leading hires, JS Racing in second, SKA Racing still showing well in third. There is 37 seconds separating the front 3 in hires after 17 hours of racing. Incredible how close this hire battle has been. Honolulu, the elite Honolulu team are heading back towards the front as well. They're only 2 laps off the lead as well. That's certainly doable for them. They were in the lead by around about 2 or 3 laps. Race for Ruben dropping down the order now. They're not showing us out on circuit. So big problems for Race for Ruben. That's promoted EDKT up onto the podium for Higher Elite. After winning Higher Pro last year, they moved into the Elite class and they are now 3rd in class. Core Blimey Racing 113, now 2nd in Higher Elite. TYS Racing still heading club. A66 Higher in 2nd, and Scenario 77 have now moved into 3rd in class. CSM Racing in 4th. I'll just bring you the novices. Boom are in 43rd and leading Higher Novice by quite some distance. With my quick maths, they're about 6 laps in the lead. Then it's V3 Racing, then Coulda, Woulda, Shoulda in Higher Novice. But kicking off here at the front of the higher grid, as it is throughout the owners. So very, very interesting, very exciting battle going on here. And as soon as we've got some cameras up and running, which I think is going to be in around about an hour or two's time, we will aim to bring you full coverage of that. We've got Blue Speed Racing in the pits. That's scheduled. Everybody else out running at the moment under these green flag conditions. Nobody is opting to pit. Most of them did so under the last full course yellow, or potentially the one before. So nobody owes us a pit stop really. TSG karting maybe in about 10 minutes time. Race for Ruben potentially back out. They've tripped the timing line at 14-minute loss. So we'll see if they come across the line again in a moment's time, and that will let us know that they are back out on the circuit. But they've lost 14.5 minutes as they've had an issue. I'll see if I can get to the bottom of that one. Potentially get an update from Paul or members of the team. Paul White, of course, heading that one, or part of that team. So the gap with GrabX Pro and Offline Motorsport has gone out to 4 laps. Not sure why that is, but Offline have had a lengthy stop by the looks of things. Been out there 9 minutes, but they were right there with GrabX Pro. GrabX Pro had that black flag and have certainly been let off the hook, unless my timing is a bit out of date. I'm just going to refresh it.
I've got the same there.
Offline
did, Offline did have that spin.
3 laps I'm showing at the moment, so I'll find out what the issue was.
Whilst you're doing that, Butters, I've just seen possibly the most agonising hairpin one incident that I've seen so far today. It was one of those that was tiptoeing on the edge, round the berm on the outside of the course. It's like, hang on in there, no. It's gone round. I think it may be the number 96 in Hires. I'm just trying to find a point at which they can get the kart back on circuit, which they have done. Not too much time lost. As I say, it's no bad thing to have a spinning hairpin one today. I think pretty much everybody has had at least one issue through that corner here today, such has been the level of rain. That is the trickiest point of the circuit, I feel, in these conditions, because you're coming in at such speed. It's narrow, you're braking hard, the weight is all being transferred to the front axle. Very easy to overshoot and claim or be claimed by the runoff there on driver's right.
Quickest car on circuit by some margin at the moment is Jess Alexander in the MS Lucas Racing car at the head of this field. Just matched this time by TTM. Times are coming down again now. We're into the 34s. Of course, we're still a good 20 seconds off dry running pace. Is it still raining, Andrew?
Yeah, it's still going, and it is that fine rain that wets you.
Okay, the one that soaks you through.
Yep, very persistent.
Persisting it down.
Yes. And I don't see the track. I don't really see the track getting to a state where it's dry lap times for a good couple of hours, because the temperatures have dropped as well. Even if it was to stop raining now, it's going to take a bit of sun to clear the amount of water that we've got out there on circuit.
Well, the good news is the sun is on its way. The track is already getting brighter.
But the rain, I mean, I'm just looking at the radar now, and from west to east across the north of England at the moment is just a solid band of rain. I'm unfortunate to have to report the forecast that we did have, that the rain was going to stop. Well, that's changed now from our sources, that there's going to be persistent rain again for the next 2 hours. Hairpin 1 has claimed another driver, and this time I think it's an owner kart that's gone off. Driver with a green helmet getting back in the kart now and going again. And is that... trying to work out which kart that is going round Hairpin 2 now with the green helmet and the red and white livery on the kart.
That could be Nexus, potentially.
Could be.
Yeah, they're about that position on the lap. What did I miss there? Sorry.
A Hairpin 1 spin.
Oh, a Hairpin 1 spin. Okay. Try and figure out who that is as they come in front of the commentary box. Heading towards us in a moment.
So across the line, which kart was it that had the spin? It was the 213.
Oh, okay.
That's
Red 77, I think.
That was their
yes, it is.
latest little issue. 33's in.
I've just noticed as well, there is... we were talking about lights earlier on in the darkness. Obviously, they're not there to light the way. There is one that has a white light on the steering wheel.
Yes.
Which, when it was dry, you didn't really notice, because the steering wheel, believe it or not, actually stays fairly steady, especially through, like, you know, as they come in front of the commentary box in the dog leg section. It's fairly straight. It's a lot of just fingertip work as it comes through there. However, they've mounted it on the steering wheel, this white light, and as they come across the line in these full wet conditions, it's left, right,
yeah.
as the driver is sawing at the wheel, and that's the difference between the conditions in wet to dry and the amount of work that the driver's having to do. In terms of steering, the good news about that, of course, is that because it's wet, the steering becomes very light. So physically, it's actually less work, despite the fact that you're doing huge amounts more, or you've got a lot more steering input.
In terms of angle, yeah. It's very much conditions, and on these slick tyres, you have to promote oversteer. You have to chuck it in to get that yaw and get that turn in. Get what tyre temperature you can. I know I've had some. I did an event at Lyd last year, which honestly was the worst set of conditions in terms of level of water. I think I've ever
getting very sideways.
And I had to do a kart change, and the pace I had. I mean, the pace I had normally was nowhere anyway, because I'm terrible in the wet. But when I changed the karts, had a fresh set of tyres on, or cold tyres on, the pace difference around Lyd, which is probably like, what would you say, half the length of this circuit, if you've ever been to Lyd?
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
You know, I was 2.5 seconds off the pace that I'd been doing beforehand, because I just had no tyre temperature at all, and I'm not able to generate that grip.
We've gone round, that's 57, prime 57, gone round, gone backwards. Oh, good recovery.
What a recovery.
Beautiful. I'm so glad we got that on camera as well. That was a great bit of recovery. 180-degree spin, reversed it down the track, J-turn, and back on the road again.
That's the first time I've ever seen someone do a J-turn down past the commentary box. That was fantastic.
Brilliant bit of skill.
Keep your comments coming in.
I mean, not the best bit of skill to lose it in the first place, completely on his own, but Oh, here we go. We've got a replay of it. There it goes. Round.
I thought this was in the
Completely
tyres at
goes.
that point.
Oh, saved it. Didn't quite get the full replay there, but yeah, brilliant bit of skill. To 1, not hit the barriers, 2, keep it off the grass, and then 3, get going again very, very quickly. So barely any time lost, maybe a few seconds.
That would have been a bit of a heart-in-the-mouth moment for some of
say
the
the least.
higher karts as well that were in the pound seats for watching that one.
Yeah, wondering whether he was going to come back across the track.
Yeah.
There was the potential for that as well, but great bit of skill, great reactions.
Third place kart in the pits. This is MSJSR. Again, a 1 hour 17-minute stint.
Quite a short stint for these conditions.
It is, and it's what they've been doing fairly consistently. As the, who was that having a little trip? It was the 201 in higher over the D chicane. I made exactly the same comment a few hours ago when they did the same, and how said, oh yeah, no, that's what they've been doing. So maybe they are nursing a bit of a economy issue in that kart, or doing something different.
Oh, somebody's gone off big time at Rib Bend through the puddles. Basically gone motocrossing down there. They were that far off, they were almost on the motocross track, which is right adjacent to that part of the circuit.
My car's parked down there.
Yeah, careful. I think it's covered in mud now. After that one, that little excursion. But you can see the standing water now that we've got the camera back from the mountain section. You see the standing water on the outside of the circuit, and you can see the puddles still filling up. Tyre tracks being left by karts as they head through the puddles there, and you can see the brightness as dawn begins to break here at Teesside. 6 hours and 50 minutes to go. Oh, we've got another camera back.
Yeah. DJ's hard at work. Slavek's having a lot of fun out there again. Every single time I see the 303 Racing kart on screen, it's been chucked around. They have had some problems over the last few hours. They've dropped away from that clubman battle. They are 7 laps off the lead of clubman, but they're having another sterling effort in the top 5 in class at the moment.
I'll tell you what the good thing about running slicks is in the wet over running karts with wet tyres. We've got spin at hairpin 4 is that they just have rooster tails.
Yeah.
They don't have spray. So there isn't like a haze or visibility issues for the karts following, because the water is just being flicked straight up in the air as big droplets and coming straight back down again. So it's not, essentially they're not clearing the circuit as you would potentially with a wet tyre, where it would flick up into the air as much smaller droplets, causing mist, and that would be caught by the wind and moved away from the circuit. So that is a benefit to running slick tyres, if as well as parroting.
Good morning to Mark Young, who's commented on the Alpha Live YouTube stream that say that all rain wets you. I am a drowned marshal.
Has he had his cake yet?
I'm not sure. Mark, let us know. Have you had cake?
We need to get our runner to go down to Rib Bend and take him a cupcake at 7 o'clock. Cake inbound at 7 o'clock, Mark. A well-earned cake on its way to you. I'm sorry for the delay. We've been running a reduced crew here during the night. But
sorry,
now
Butters,
that the daytime is in, we've got yellow flags.
We've got a pit stop that is not scheduled for Nexus Sports. They were only in 19 minutes ago. I'm just reminding myself, no, they've not had any penalties. Why are Nexus Sports, the kart that were in 4th, they've lost that now. TTM2 Rosso Corsa have gone through.
JSR with a long stop, potential tyre change there. That was over a minute loss. So potential tyre change for JSR in 3rd place overall.
I've just realised something about TTM2.
Yes. TTM2?
Yeah. You've been calling them Toro Rosso from time to time, which is understandable. Mr. Mitchell must like that team. It's a Rosso Corsa. It's a red Corsa. That's what half of the DDMM fleet used to be back in the day.
Okay, half of the. What with both of you having cars and one of them being a
one
red
of them being
Corsa.
a red Corsa. We had a red Corsa, that was Howard's, and we had a navy blue Fiesta, that was mine.
Okay. Did you ever have a race and then play the song in the background? The red car and the blue car had a race.
No, because they would both blow up, and both of them did blow up. The Fiesta was lost on the way to Glannygores up the A5. Ignition coil pack, bang. No racing that day. And I think the red course had something quite similar.
We've got one off here.
Oh,
in front of us. That's the 133. That's Rosso Corsa. Commentator's curse, Andrew. They've gone off here in front of the commentary box. Looks like they're going to be back underway fairly quickly.
Is there damage though to that kart? How?
I don't think they went off too hard. They tended to just nose in. Both engines are up and running, and they are back underway again.
Hit the puddle. That is a very. Oh no, they did go into the tyres.
They did. Potential track rod, but that would be about the level of damage. It didn't look too bad.
Oh, another one's gone. Oh no, sorry, that's the new one. That is a live one. That's the number 95 that's gone off this time. So the problem here, ladies and gentlemen, is
Great
there
job
is
to dodge the tyres though in that particular one.
Sorry, I thought that was a repeat showing of the one that we saw do the J turn earlier, but no, that was another one. So what's causing
that
this?
was our leader in club. That's MS Scorchio.
There is a quite sizable puddle growing. I mean, it's not there now. MS Scorchio have just cleared it, but the rate at which the rain is falling out of the sky keeps forming this quite large puddle right on the apex.
It's not
the exit of Dog Leg.
I've just looked. It's not on the apex. It's when they're going wider because they think the curb on the inside is going to have a puddle in it. It doesn't. It's further out. So if they're taking the curb on the inside, they're okay. It's when they move a bit wider, that's when they go through it, and that's what's firing them off.
There we go. That seems to be our new
there
area
we go. There's an
of,
example from
of
119.
activity.
Harry's Hot Wheels in the pits. They've been in for quite a while as well. So SMJC have retaken the lead in higher club. And JDM have now taken second as well. So MS Scorchio not showing us in the pits. They did just have that spin. Where are they?
I think they did just carry on round.
I thought they did as well, but they're not showing up on timing. And now they've lost 12th place overall. MS Car Shop have just overtaken them for 11th. There they go. They've triggered the line now. 3 minutes 26 seconds. So that was a... Did they come straight in the pits? Potentially.
I'm going to put a theory out here.
No, they didn't, because they've been out on track 42 minutes. Could he have dropped an engine?
So that one happened right in front of us, and I'd be interested to know the timing loop is under the track. Has he gone in that spin just enough to drive us left that he's actually gone around the timing loop and not triggered it? That's what I think has happened.
So they've lost a lap
by not
triggering the timing loop.
Triggering the beam, because whilst they missed the tyres, they pretty much just arced just right in front of us here. I don't know if we can get on the static cam to our left. It was bizarre
because they went in the gap between the timing loop, which we can see,
and the concrete strip of where the timing loop is,
and the tyres.
That's what I think has happened.
They've gone straight through that gap, not triggered the timing beam, of which that gap is like barely wide enough to fit a kart through. So the fluke of flukes, they've managed to not trigger the timing loop.
Yep.
And have basically cost themselves a lap.
So as you're looking at that on the stream, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for pulling that angle up for us, Adam. That car, the MS Scorchio, I reckon has just lost the lead on timing because they have come pretty much directly at the camera, and you can see the white lines on the ground there. That's where the timing beam is, and they've gone between that gap between the tyres on the right-hand side of the screen and the line kind of in the middle and just off to the left. That is tremendously unlucky.
I don't
know what the rules are.
I don't know what the rules are either. I'm gonna
another one off. Max O'Shaughnessy off. Max O'Shaughnessy off right ahead of us. This is the number 8. This is second place
in pro.
And another owner kart is claimed by the exit of the dogleg.
Does it look okay?
That time it goes over the line. That should trigger, and does. 1 minute 57.
We'll find out what happens to MS Scorchio. I'm really intrigued to know what's going to happen now, because essentially they're owed a lap.
Yes. I mean, they will argue that, you know, they've completed a lap of the circuit.
Yes. Okay, let's keep an eye on what's going to happen with that one, with race control, whether they're going to be credited a lap back due to that incident, or whether it is simply, well, you went off.
Yep.
Be a shame, a real shame if that was the case, especially from the lead of the class as well, having worked so hard to get there, and they have been marching up the order for the last 17 hours and 18 minutes. There we go. They have, in fact, been credited the lap back. Brilliant catch, Andrew. Well done. They now owe you drinks later.
Wow.
Drinks in the bar later for potentially crediting them back with that lap. I'm
going to thank the Teesside team for a very nice positioning of the new commentary box. We wouldn't have spotted that if we were elsewhere.
Yeah, MS Scorchio owe you drinks, and I think we would like to thank Race Control as well,
yes,
for being alive to the situation and bringing fairness back into it. I think more than anything. It was in the interest of fairness, and they did complete the lap. So Scorchio back into the lead of Hire Club. SMJC 22.7 seconds behind now. JDM in third, a further lap back. Around about a lap and a half. No, 43 seconds. Half a lap behind SMJC. So all three in Hire Club, top three, all on the same lap.
Very good.
Lucas Racing still leading. Elite Team Tate in second, 2 laps down. JSR 2 laps down again on that, but they have just come out of the pits potentially with new tyres on. Rosso Corsa leading pro from GrabX Pro, from Offline Motorsport. There's around about 4 laps between the front 3 there, although GrabX Pro and Offline Motorsport are separated by 3 laps now. That battle has raged all night, toing and froing, up and down. It's been out to about 30 seconds, I think, and it's been as small as 2 or 3 seconds at times. But that has now gone out to 3 laps. I'm just going to get an update.
Oh, 61 backwards, right ahead of us. Another one claimed by the dogleg. They pivoted it round there and got it going. Sorry. I just look up and it just directly at me. It's like, this car's not going coasting backwards, as you do. That was the Alessia kart that time. They did break the timing beam, just not in the correct direction of travel.
In hires, overall hires has been taken by the Hire Pro class. Honolulu Racing 1 have just taken the lead in that class from JS Racing, who must have had an incident somewhere because they have not triggered timing. There they do now. 1 minute 49 isn't particularly far off. Did you say Alessio just went off in front of us?
Correct.
Right. Well, they have set the fastest lap of the race. A 5.294 second lap. So congratulations, Alessia. Fastest lap of the race in the wet conditions. I've got a funny feeling that might not be counted, though.
I'm going to be honest. That one's really stumped me. So is that the tactic?
So
if you go across the timing beam
and then
backwards,
gone backwards and then recovered forwards.
No. You credit to you on that one. That is exactly what they've done.
Yes.
They've rolled across the timing line backwards, then pivoted it round 180 and broken the timing beam again, going forward. There we go.
And it took them 5.2 seconds to do that.
And they did it in 5.3 seconds.
So congratulations to Alessio with your fastest lap of the race. So Honolulu Racing taking the overall lead in higher in the pro class as well. SKA Racing now second, but only 4.5 seconds behind. JS Racing in third, another 3.4 seconds behind. So 8 seconds separating the top three in hires now as we come up to 6.5 hours to go. Honolulu Racing Elite, they are currently fourth and leading the elite class, but they're only a lap behind as well, so certainly not beyond the realms of possibility for them to still take the overall win if they run trouble-free. And we've got SKA Racing actually have just gone 5 seconds quicker than Honolulu Racing. They crossed the line nose to tail. We could have a change in the lead for hires overall. I'm trying to get them on the camera here. That is Honolulu Racing there, and I didn't see. Whoa! Who is that? Big off into the barriers as well. On the exit of Rib, we've got yellow flags out there for obvious reasons. I think that was is that 9?
I think it might be, yeah. The number 9 of the Newmarket Hornets.
In fact, yes, it would be with that fluorescent yellow helmet. We've got a kart with an engine drop here on the left-hand side of your screen. Is that the... I think that's one of the Rethink Racing entries. So we'll get them across the line and see whether there's been a change for the lead overall in hires. Keeping an eye out for them.
So if we're keeping race control on their toes now, that they now need to
Alessia's
deduct a lap.
That has, well, the lap has been deducted, I believe, but the lap time has definitely been. In fact, no, it hasn't.
No,
it's not been adjusted at all. No, not yet. But I think that will be changed fairly swiftly. Just waiting for them to come across the line any second now in higher pro. SKA Racing have taken the lead overall in hires. Pulled out 1.8 seconds on Honolulu Racing 1. So change for the overall higher lead. Change for the lead in higher pro class as well. JS Racing still there, 6.3 seconds off the lead now. Slightly slower lap for them. But SKA Racing showing very well in these conditions. Honolulu in elite still leading. Blimey Racing are now only a couple of laps off the overall elite lead as well that's held by Honolulu. TYS Racing leading club. They're in between Honolulu and Blimey. And then it's A66 higher. Then we've got EDKT in elite. A66 in club. EDKT in elite. So our three elite runners three of our elite runners in hires are only separated by around about 3 or 4 laps. So if anybody comes a cropper there, that's going to make a big difference. TYS Racing, A66 higher in club, and then Scenario 77 recovering well in 3rd place.
An incident to report about at Hairpin 1, both karts recovered. It was the number 10 of X Racing making contact with the number 55 in the higher category, that being Honolulu Friends.
And that needed a recovery?
No, they both got going by themselves.
Oh, okay.
But, they were down.
I was going to say, normally we would have gone full course yellow. Are we still raining out there at the moment?
Yes, we are. Still very persistent. I have my reference puddle off to the left, which is decidedly larger than it was when I entered the comms box.
It looks quite still from here. Maybe that's just my eyes.
No, it is that fine rain that still keeps falling.
Mizzling. Oh, in fact, yes, I can see it on the camera now, down on the right-hand side. Although that might be exacerbated by the drivers coming past and dumping the spray into it. So, Scorchio leading in Owner Club. 31 seconds now ahead of SMJC. Another 37 seconds back to JDM. Still keeping an eye on this battle between SKA, Honolulu and JS Racing for overall lead in hires. Really hotting up there now. JS Racing moving towards Honolulu Racing as well. This is going to rage throughout the rest of the race, as it has done for the last 17 and a half hours.
I've just spotted something. I think we discussed this earlier, that the Bottas boys were offering track time.
Right.
A photographer who's broke out onto the circuit in a race helmet. Tom Fox, Fantastic Mr. Fox, of the UKC. I've just spotted his helmet going around. I'm going, hang on, didn't know he was racing today. So the 541 is out there now, having a bit of fun.
Bear with me a moment while
He's clearly decided that he doesn't want to get damp anymore taking pictures. That there's not going to be a happy hour and a good sunrise with the cloud in the rain, so he's gone out and started doing some laps.
You've just reminded me of something that I need to get to the bottom of while I figure this out on my mobile phone.
Whilst you're doing that, I'm going to do a rundown. We're going to do the
yes.
owners this time, and I'm just going to give my timing screen a refresh. There we go. MS Lucas Racing leading the race, 751 laps completed by them, and they are 70 minutes into a stint. Their lead, as the number 42 kart, is 2 laps over the 318 of Team Tate Motorsports. They themselves have a 2-lap advantage over the 0111 of MSJSR. So 1, 2, 3 for the 42, the 318 and the 0111, 4 laps covering them. 17, the kart number 17 in 4th place, that's Nexus Sports. They've just retaken that position. Some really good lap times being put in at the moment by Nexus Sport. They've recovered from a little bit of a setback earlier on in the hour. And as I say, they've taken that position away from the Team Tate Motorsport 2 kart. Rosso Corsa, red Corsa out there on the same lap, 2.18 seconds behind Nexus Sport. In 5th place overall, but crucially still leading in Pro. 31 seconds is their advantage over the number 8 of Gravex Pro, who have just come in for a pit stop, and I'm not sure whether that is scheduled or not. No, sorry, they had a black flag, so that's what truncated that particular stint. So no, that is scheduled for Gravex Pro. Max O'Shaughnessy in for them. They are also, to say, on the same lap as Rosso Corsa. Offline Motorsport have had some tough times in the last hour. They've had a spin, been one of several owner karts off in the last corner. They're still there though in the 77 kart in 7th place, 3rd place in Pro, but they've got a 3-lap gap to find to get back into that battle for the lead. MS Soco Select, former champions, great history at this race, as there is an owner kart a long way off in the grass at hairpin number 1. We'll try and capture who that is in a moment. It doesn't look at the moment like it's going to be their year. They're in 8th place overall, 5th in class, 13 laps off the overall lead. They have a laps advantage over the leader in club, which is the number 95 of MS Scorchio. They're in 9th place after that. They've also had a spin down in front of us here at start finish. Their advantage in class is 34.6 seconds over the 959 from SMJC. That completes your top 10, and to complete the podium positions in club at the moment within the owners, the number 22 in 11th place, that's JDM, 27.5 seconds behind SMJC 959. So club really is where the battle is on. What's happening, Butters?
Rosso Corsa and Gravex Pro both in, unscheduled.
The Gravex Pro one I think is okay, because they've had a black flag during their stint, but I agree with you with the Rosso Corsa one. That doesn't seem...
Gravex, what, just received a black flag?
In the last half hour they've had one.
Oh no, they're in now.
Yes, no, that's fine. That's a standard fuel stop.
Oh right, I'm with you. Sorry, so that's why they've been out 26 minutes. Okay, I'm
Correct.
with you. Right. Yes, sorry, ignore me.
That's all right.
Rosso Corsa, however,
Rosso Corsa, I don't
unscheduled.
think that's not scheduled. So
Gravex Pro
that's,
back out, 3-minute 11 stop, probably a tyre change.
Yep.
Back out and underway.
and some a new driver in as well.
Yes.
Continuing with the rundown, 12th place, the number 11 kart of MS Kart Shop just faded a bit through the wee hours of the morning. They're 15 laps off the overall lead. They do have a 3-lap advantage, though, over the number 44 of MSDLCR, who will be hoping for some incidents and bad luck ahead of them. Still have a good chance of a class podium for the karts there in 13th place overall. Red Graphics, the 113, the last of the elites at the moment in 14th place. 19 laps off the overall lead. Some good pace, though, at the moment for the 113. 132.587. It's one of the fastest karts out there on circuit at the moment, and it's ahead of the number 3 of Omega Racing, who are 4th in Pro, 15th overall. They've just come in to the pits. That is also, I think, a scheduled stop because 35 minutes ago they did have a black flag, so that's another stint that was interrupted, but on the fuel it's fine. Moving further back, we find in 16th place overall the 303 Racing Kart. They are in 5th place in club, and they're ahead of the 2 Grabex karts, the number 36 Grabex Motorsport. I've seen Sam Nash in for them now. 3 laps they've got to find to catch up to 303 Racing. They have got a laps advantage, though, over their stablemates in the 88. That's the Grabex Racing entry. Full course yellow has just come out. I'll leave you, Butters, to try and work out what the cause of that is. We'll continue with this rundown. 19th place, number 40 of Mad Motorsport, 30 laps off the overall lead. Trying to hold off a charging Blue Speed Racing, the 881 currently completing the top 20. 90 seconds is the gap.
Where's that helmet been all night?
Oh, the one with the light. Oh, no, that's a new one. With
we've not seen that at all. What a waste to bring it out during during
as the
dawn.
sun starts to come
We've
out.
not seen that. Well, I've not seen that at all during the night.
Continue the rundown. 21st
Yes.
place, the number 10 of X Racing, 37 laps off the overall lead in a bit of no man's land. 6 laps up the road are Blue Speed. 5 laps behind them are TSG Karting in the number 158. They're 22nd. A66 have had some tough times in the morning. They've been in for some repairs.
Here, coming out of Rib. Try and figure out who that is. It's an owner, definitely. Sorry to interrupt you, Andrew. That could be the Red 77. I think it is the Red 77.
Harry's Hot Wheels are in 24th place overall, the number 94, 49 laps off the overall lead. They've got a good gap over Rethink Racing 2 in 25th. Alessia, the number 61 and 26th, have not set the fastest lap of the race. That was a bit of it wasn't a timing glitch, it was just a set of circumstances where it wasn't a full complete lap. That is the last of the owner entries to not have serious trouble. The ones now are karts that are behind some of at least the higher entry. So we go down to 38th place. We find the 213 of Red 77. 43rd, the number 57 of Prime 57. The gap between those 2 karts is 3 laps. So something to chase there for Prime 57. We then go all the way down to 56th place, where we find the 33 of BRM Racing, who I still feel should have a V16 engine on them. But there we go. There they are. 668 laps completed by them. Continuing down to find the next owner, it's Team BPR in 71st place. 653 laps completed by them. And then we drop down into the karts that have at least all but retired. The 103 of Rethink Racing 1 had a chassis failure, currently scored in 88th. Reckless Racing, the 916. Dazzle, the 818. Team HWR, the number 92. And the Guinness World Record attempt, number 24. We do believe it will come back out later to take the conditions when they're a little bit better. They have set, or Joe Patterson has set the record for the most kilometres achieved in 12 hours, but unfortunately there won't be a 24-hour record here today. That's scored in 93rd. And last of the owner entries is the now retired number 58 DWS Racing Pro that completed 486 laps. That is your rundown with 6 hours and 23 minutes of the 2022 British 24 Hour to go, and we're back to green, back to full racing speed.
Yes, we are. Now, the good news is that Hire Pro has become extremely close once again. Rosso Corsa with an unscheduled and long stop, not sure why, but they have lost the lead of Hire Pro while we were doing that rundown. GrabX Pro have taken the lead, but they had a long stop about 3 minutes or so ago. I believe that was for a tyre change or potentially a service and maintenance stop. Lost about 2 minutes in the pits. That's going to bring Owner Pro. Sorry, yeah, that's tiredness kicking in. My apologies.
That's all right. I was doing that at the very start of the race last year.
Owner Pro. So GrabX, Rosso Corsa and Offline Motorsport spread by around about a lap and a half now. In the meantime, in Hire Pro, still all kicking off here. SKA Racing only just in front of Honolulu with JS Racing in third. And that is for the overall higher class as well, as they come across the line in front of us any second now. It is SKA. Then it's Honolulu. Then it's JS Racing, as close as that after 17 hours, 38 minutes of racing. And Honolulu Racing 1 have ducked into the pits just now. An hour and 17 minute stint. That's going to break that battle up ever so slightly for a while. JS Racing probably coming in around about 15 to 20 minutes time. And SKA Racing have been out there 49 minutes so far. So give or take, they're on around about the same schedule. Round about the same schedule in terms of pits. SKA Racing, the only slight difference there. That's red graphics in. Looks like a scheduled stop at the moment.
Public service announcement. I've just had one of the team members from Team 85 who've got some radio issues, so need some members from Team 85 to come into the pits if possible. Team 85.
I'm not sure we're on the... are we back on the PA now? I don't think we are we?
Ah, we're not on the PA.
So they would have to be watching the stream. It's a lot brighter on the camera than it is in front of our commentary box at the moment. It certainly isn't daylight yet, but the camera is doing a good job of making it look like it is. It's still pretty dark out there, mostly due to the heavy cloud cover. I think if we were clear sky, we would be about as bright as it is on that camera. So red graphics we saw in the pits, they have yet to trigger the timing beam on their way back out. So we'll keep an eye on that one. JS Racing, as we said, have moved into second place in Hire Pro and Hire overall due to the Honolulu Racing 1 semi-scheduled pit stop, an hour and 18 minutes. So it's there or thereabouts. Alessia's still showing us having the fastest lap of the race as well with that 5.2 second lap. I don't think that will ever be beaten.
I think we need to leave that one as a guess what happened here for David and Howard. Well, just don't mention it and just sneak it in there. It's like, oh yeah, the fastest lap was a 5.3. Just casual. Yeah.
Honolulu Racing 1, the 58. I'm going to see when they come over the line as to whether this is a scheduled stop or not. They've already lost around about a lap here to SKA and JS.
Couple of hellos. Hello to Darren McKinney, who's joining us in the YouTube comments, and David Snell as well, supporting the straight through crew. How are the straight through crew doing at the moment in the
Honolulu
999?
Racing 3 minutes 17. So they've lost a lap in that pit stop.
80th place at the moment for the 999. And have you seen Sam Baker says hello?
Oh, Sam Baker.
Yeah. Says morning, Butters. Still going strong.
Yeah, well, strong as he can be on 2.5 hours sleep. Since 5 o'clock yesterday. Well, in fact, yes, 2.5 hours sleep in the last 24 hours and 42 minutes. Oof. So
Could be
forgive
worse,
me if I'm waffling.
You could be. There was one year where you commentated and raced in the same edition, didn't you?
I did.
Tell us about that.
I did 2 stints in high. In fact, I've done it twice. I did it once in owners, and I did 2 stints in that, and then I did a stint in about 3/4 in hires one year as well, as well as doing commentary. And yeah, it was an experience. I mean, it was brilliant. Don't get me wrong, it was absolutely brilliant because you're out there, you're experiencing it. Fully lit on the circuits. We've got one gone off very wide at hairpin 4 and rejoined the track in a shower of sparks. The 413 in hires, which is called Blimey Racing 413. But yeah, it's great because you get the full experience of what it's like to be out there. You can describe the track conditions. You can describe what it's like through the corners. You can describe what it's like to work through the traffic. Hands-on experience of that year's activities. And then you come in and you talk about it. And it is brilliant, but extremely tiring.
Yes.
Extremely tiring. I've taken the day off tomorrow, day off work tomorrow, just to recover from doing commentary. I think I could well be having a kip before I even drive back, make the drive back to Glasgow. But thank you, Baker, for getting in touch. Hopefully we can set up well, it was originally, we used to do a gaming session on a Wednesday night, and we used to have Wreckfest Wednesdays. But due to certain people's commitment to testing at Wilton Mill on a Wednesday, we've had to reschedule it, and so now we have Feckrest Thursdays.
I might be interested in joining.
Oh, get involved.
Yeah.
Have you got a PlayStation?
Yeah.
Get involved.
Yeah.
Get involved.
We'll
Speaking of PlayStations, the reason I went looking through, I had to look through my phone. You said Tom Fox is out there for the Bottas boys.
Yes.
Right. Now, I made contact with Tom Fox because Tom Fox, or rather, I was scrolling through Gran Turismo.
Yeah, as you do.
And having a look at some liveries and things like that. Helmet designs.
Yeah.
Tom Fox's brother does helmet designs on Gran Turismo, and I found this by accident, purely by chance. He's under Foxy Red 2000, so of course you see Foxy Red photography, Foxy Red 2000 on Gran Turismo. You think, okay, maybe there's a connection there. So of course I get in touch with Tom. So Tom, is that are these your designs? You know, when you're not out taking photos at circuit, do you design helmets on Gran Turismo? No, he doesn't, but his brother does. So big shout out to Tom Fox's brother. Don't know his name. But he does have a brother, and he designs helmets on Gran Turismo, for which you can find with using the search of Foxy Red 2000 for any Gran Turismo players. James Fox. There we go.
Yeah.
So big shout to James Fox and his helmet designs. He's done some absolute crackers. If you are, or if you do own a PlayStation, you do own Gran Turismo, check them out.
Lots of good news.
Oh dear.
For Red Graphics. They have been in the pits for a while, and they're now down to 16th place, so more problems for the 113.
It did look like a scheduled stop. However, when it was pushed through the pit lane by Adam Nichols, there wasn't much of a rush. Oh, I can see someone heading towards the commentary box. 3 legs.
Oh, have we had... guys, quick. Have we got any idea? How are we going to introduce him this time? We've had Wonky Donkey. We've had
Peg Leg
Captain
Pete.
Pugwash.
We've had Peg Leg Pete.
Peg Leg Pete.
Hop Along, Sir Limp-a-Lot.
I've got 12 minutes. 12 minutes to think of one.
Okay.
In Sumner Speed asks what happened to the world record attempt. The rain happened.
Offline are back in again, unscheduled, 47 minutes into their stint. So that could put paid to them, certainly challenging Rosso Corsa and Grabex Pro for overall victory in the Pro class. We will see how long they're in the pits for. Definitely unscheduled at 47 minutes. MS Scorchio still leading Higher Club by 22 seconds. JDM 32 seconds back still, so 50, well, let's call it 55 seconds now separating the top three in Owner Club. We've got the battle still raging in Higher Pro, which equates to Higher overall. SKA Racing 11 seconds ahead of JS Racing now. Honolulu Racing 1 had that longer stop, which has dropped them down by a lap. It's brought back into play the elite class Honolulu. They are now 1 minute 20 seconds behind. So back onto the same lap of third overall. TYS Racing leading Higher Club from A66 Higher and Scenario 77, but there are laps between those. 3 laps between TYS and A66. And another 3 laps back to Scenario 77. So 6 laps separating the top 3 in Higher Club. Higher Novice was headed by Boom and still is. They are 7 laps clear now of V3 Racing, who are in turn another 2 laps clear of Newmarket Buzzing Hornets.
Very good. So 10 minutes before we have the return for the final stint of Teesside Autodrome's answer to Evel Knievel.
Offline had an excursion.
Yes.
1 minute 52 second lap when they came into the pits. So they've lost 20 seconds. So they've had an off somewhere that's cost them 20 seconds, and they're now in the pits.
Change for position, 35th overall. Race for Ruben have just got past Honolulu friend by Saints.
What Saints?
I'm just thinking, I reckon we'll see a race for Ruben pit stop in the next 20-25 minutes. Sorry, I've got very distracted by a whistling noise. What is that? Sounds like a train.
Is that the kettle? Oh, it's the kettle.
Oh, it's the kettle. Oh, okay. I thought it was a freight train. I was like, there's no rail lines near here.
It's a very odd noise for a kettle to make. Has it got one of them squeaky things on it that, you know,
like
when you put it on the stove?
And it's not David's leg.
Needs a bit of oiling up for the moon boot.
It's like Tin Man at the start of Wizard of Oz.
Grabex are in as well. That's scheduled. The 88 of Grabex Racing in 18th place. That is a scheduled stop. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in class. Right behind Grabex Motorsport. Well, 2 laps behind. DLCR in from 4th in Owner Clubman. That's scheduled for them as well. They've been out an hour and 18 minutes. We've got 1 round at the entry into Hairpin 1. They've just dropped down the cut through. They might be able to get going again now. Rain looks like it's teeming down again out there. Hurling it down once again with tyre barriers being replaced on the start-finish straight due to that. So conditions getting worse again more than better, unfortunately. Honolulu Elite has just gone through with a 1 minute 45 second lap, so that was a bit of a slow one for them. Wondered what happened because they came across the line sort of waving their hand a little bit in the air, almost giving it the Italian.
Yes. Sorry, that
finger to index finger to thumb, upside down circle, wave it around. That kind of one.
nothing rude.
Nothing rude. Let's just go with the Italian chef
of exasperation.
Yes, the Italian chef getting exasperated. That kind of gesture of. I hope there's no Italians watching because I'm going to be in trouble.
I'm saying nothing. I still want to go there in October.
Brilliant. Where are you going?
Lenato.
Don't say Italy.
Lenato.
Lenato.
Yeah.
Very nice. Have you been to Jesolo?
No, I have not.
You see, I went to Jesolo on holiday and discovered there's a kart track there. This was before I actually did
it's
karting.
Italy. There's a kart track on every single street corner.
But
especially in the north of Italy.
I'm trying to convince Ange and Bobby that we should go there for a BPEC race. That should be the European round one year.
I'm going to throw a suggestion in there for another circuit that you could go to, which I've frequented before. Franciacorta. Franciacorta, which we recently had an Alpha Live event at, which you can watch. There's some Rotax Max Switzerland action. Have we gone full course yellow, or is it just a...
Nope.
No, it's a yellow just out of turn
hairpin
4.
And hairpin 1. So bottom half of the lap is... that's why, because they're replacing tyre barriers at the moment.
Okay.
So we've got waved yellows for around about half of the lap, rather than going full course. Yes, so I would highly recommend going to Jesolo. It's right on the Adriatic coast.
Yeah.
The beach is gorgeous. It's a bit of a party town, bit of a beach town, really. Got a lovely strip of shops and bars and pizzerias and lovely little restaurants and that kind of thing. And there's a brilliant kart track there. Somebody went straight off there across the grass, and Marshall had to take some evasive manoeuvres, but came out of it okay, thankfully. We've also got yellow flags at Ribs Bend. We don't know what that is for, but they are the only yellow flags out there at the moment. It's all been cleared away here, and we are back to full racing conditions with the exception of Ribs Bend. Nexus Sport in for an unscheduled stop, out of 4th place overall. Offline Motorsport back out, but lost another few laps, should we say, to Rosso Corsa. The gap at the front of Hires overall is 12.8 seconds, with JS Racing probably not far off a pit stop now, but heading 2 seconds a lap quicker than SKA Racing on that previous lap. So we'll get them over the line this time. It was there we go. SKA Racing have picked the pace back up now. They did a 146. They're back into the 143s. JS Racing posting a 1 minute 40. Oh dear, timing freezes.
Good morning to Spartan Expert, actually, on the DDMM Comsbox stream. He says good morning. We have also just done what should be the final reset of the camera to the end of the race. So thank you for joining us here on Double Ash Motorsport Media. If you're enjoying the commentary, do give us a subscribe and all that business. The 172 is facing in slightly the wrong direction. On driver's left on the wiggles. Oh, big save, actually, from Tom Fox. Right, let me just talk through what I've just seen. Tom got it initially completely wrong, cut off the last part of the wiggle, and then did something that I think was more akin to Nitro Rallycross, through a puddle, probably went at least 1.5 feet in the air, and then landed back down again and kept it in a straight line.
Was it over the last section of the wiggles?
Yes, where that big muddy hole is.
Yes, pretty standard move. If you're going to go wide at the on the final curb of the Wiggles, you are doing what I described earlier as the Night Rider. Press the turbo button on the Night Rider, and away you go into the air.
Kicks in.
Yes. Launched. So we've got Nexus still in the pits with an unscheduled stop. We've also got Soko selecting with an unscheduled stop. They've only been out there for 22 minutes. So they are out there, as is Omega Racing. They're in with an unscheduled stop. A66 coming in with a most likely scheduled stop. They were out there for an hour and 11 minutes. So I'd imagine that's there or thereabouts for them.
Just to say for the folks at home, I mean, you can probably already see it at home. This level of rain that we've got now, and the amount of standing water, I think is getting close to 2017 levels. I always look to D chicane to see how much standing water have we got. The puddles. Yeah. The puddles. We've actually got 2 puddles forming now. One on the entry and one on the exit. And this is getting very tricky for the drivers now.
It is. The best way to clear it, though, is for them to keep driving round at speed as well. But this is by far the worst conditions we've had so far this race. Yeah. In fact, probably since 2017.
Yeah.
This is the worst conditions that we've had in a 24-hour race. It is teeming down out there. As the 181 looked like they were coming into the pits and then decided against it last second. And you can see the rain on camera. Wow, that is, heavy. In fact, you can see how heavy it is because it's hitting the top of the awning and filling up and tipping itself out. Yeah. Really, really heavy rain out there at the moment. How long do we think this is going to last for, Andrew?
We the last check.
Give us a final weather update before you head off.
For a couple of hours.
42 in. That's a scheduled stop. Just come in front of us into the pit lane.
The bad news is that A, it's in for at least another 2 hours, and B, apparently it's going to get heavier.
It can't get much heavier than this, surely. I mean, unless it's like stair rods.
I think that's where we might be going, fortunately.
I mean, the thing is, it doesn't look that...
The good thing is the visibility is not bad. It's not foggy. It's not too windy. And we're not to the stage yet where aquaplaning becomes a problem. But that will be what race control are looking at. If they feel that there is too much standing water, they will put the red flag out. We have had that happen before, both.
It's more likely that we'll go full course yellow, and potentially have them line up behind the leader, and the leader go and pace them round, rather than just a full course yellow. Let them bunch themselves up. So, Andrew. I believe you're handing over now.
Yes, I'm handing over to David. Thank you very much, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the through the night commentary. And yes, I'll leave you in the very capable hands of Tom and David. As there's a spin round at hairpin 1 involving the number 43 that tipped round at least one kart. It's all getting a little bit tricky out there. And there's also a kart that's just come to our rest to our right with a Nassau panel left. I'm going to go and take cover and let you gentlemen proceed with this. A lot going on here at Teesside Autodrome. You're watching live coverage of the 2022 British 24-hour. See you in a bit.
Thank you, Andrew. While some technical changes happen here in the commentary box, we will welcome David in a moment. MS Lucas Racing still leading this race. They are in for a scheduled stop, and the 43 is round now, so causing karts to go round at hairpin 1 and then losing it over the line. I think Josh Falkus has just got back into the 43. They were in for an unscheduled stop a few minutes ago. In fact, only just gone out there. Posting a 142 lap, but then has gone backwards over the line. So this is going to be a slow one for them. They're still holding 8th place, but they are now 13 laps off of the lead. Yeah, that's scheduled, but we're just waiting for Lucas to come over the line and trigger where they are. it looked very much like a scheduled stop. We got two here in through the wiggles. One went left, one went backwards. There's 42. Come over the line now, so they are still leading this race.
3 minutes and 4 then for an opening lap.
So I think that's potential service stop has taken place there because they've lost about a minute.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe put
over a normal stop.
Maybe put new tyres on.
Yes.
And pump them right up as well. Big pressures maybe.
Team Tate are still second. They are now about a lap and around about 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds or so off of the lead lap. JSR going round. We'll get them over the line in a couple of seconds' time. They're going to be scored around 3 laps behind Team Tate. Then we have Nexus Sport, a further 4 laps back of them. They had an unscheduled stop just now as we got another one round. That's a 78 top width in Hires as they get going again. Really, really tricky conditions out there now. I mean, tricky is an understatement, really. There is standing water from the entry to the wiggles all the way through to hairpin 1. Out of hairpin 1, there's standing water. You can see the puddles, or I can see the puddles as they're splashing through them. Hairpin 2. The good news is the back straight doesn't look too bad. From what I can see with drivers, full power down there, they're not squirrely. So it doesn't look like there's aquaplaning down the back straight. Hairpin 3 and 4, very, very wet, as you can imagine. Some puddles as well. And some standing water, bit of sheen over the circuit. Then as they come out of hairpin 4, it's absolutely fine until they get to the kink, the right-hander, as they head over start-finish line, and there is a big puddle appearing there, and it doesn't seem like the drivers are able to wash that away while this is coming down. Entry into the D chicane, massive puddle starting to appear there. Despite them bow waving through that at the moment and clearing it onto the grass, it seems to be washing its way back onto the circuit, and that's not being cleared. Exit of the D chicane, we have a car off at the moment, but doesn't look too bad. It's about the same as the D chicane entry.
Trying to pick a number out on that when it comes through slowly, Tom. It's going to have to take a while to get going because there's just no space in the traffic. He might have even dropped an engine as well. He has, having that restarted on the right rear.
Yellow flags covering that, and they
great. That is the 96. That'll be the Veterans Motorsport UK entry.
Team Tate is showing in the pits.
Early as well.
Only an hour into a stint.
Oh, BRM have had a spin, Tom. I think they're in the 33 car in the same place on the exit of that D chicane. I was expecting when I went off at 2 o'clock in the morning, it was supposed to stop raining about just after. I'm guessing it didn't stop at all.
Well, when I came in, I got out the car and walked back up, and it wasn't raining anymore. It was absolutely bone dry. I went into the cafe, got something to eat, and came out, and it was teeming down. So yeah, it's been a bit. It was a bit stop-start, but ever since I came back 2 hours ago, it's been coming down ever since then. It certainly hasn't stopped at any point, and it is now as heavy as it's been out there. Team Tate, keeping an eye on them. They are in for potentially another unscheduled stop.
Tom, just having said that, the timing screen to the left says hour 22. That says 1 hour, which is strange, but hour 22 would be on schedule.
That'll be why.
For
because,
TTM2.
This particular timing screen has a bit of a flake. There we go. Right, so 1 hour 20 minutes for Team Tate. Apologies for that. Technical issues here in the commentary box. But yes, Team Tate then in for a scheduled stop. All is okay. All is forgiven. and they're back out 2 minutes 46 that lap, so not far off a normal pit stop time as well.
Expecting pit stops, Tom, for our owner clubman leaders in a few moments' time. Hour 35 at the moment for MS Scorchio, and an hour 33 for SMJC 959.
Oh, we've got, was that BRM going round off the bottom of the screen?
Yes, it was, and we also heard a massive rev of an engine as the 213 Red 7-7 entry turned itself round over start finish.
We're due a pit stop for SKA Racing in the next probably, I would say, 10 minutes at the most. That is going to set fire to the blue touch paper in the higher class. Overall higher, JS Racing, Honolulu Racing separated by 8.4 seconds for second place. They're a lap behind SKA Racing, but they owe us a pit stop. So before this round of pit stops, they were separated by around about 10 seconds. So it's going off there. Honolulu in higher elite are in for a scheduled stop, but their last stop cost them around about 4 or 5 laps. They dropped down into 4th overall in hires. This is the Honolulu elite entry. We'll keep, and then in fact they're back out with a 2 minute 54, so fairly quick turnaround by them. They're back out. They're only 2 laps off now, SKA Racing, so it'll be 1 lap when they make their stop. So Honolulu and higher elites could still get this back. There's time for them, if they're good enough in the wet, to we know they're good enough in the dry to catch up a lap in 5 hours and 50 minutes and overhaul that. Whether they can in the wet is a different proposition, but they're making their way back towards the front. Core Blimey Racing in higher elites, they're in for a scheduled stop as well. EDKT and Race for Ruben separated by 8.5 seconds now, and I think Paul White is out there for Race for Ruben. He's going to be flying along and potentially taking the final step of the podium in higher elite away from the EDKT team.
Still plenty of time to go. 5 hours and 50 minutes of what has become a very, very wet 2022 British 24-hour race. I think it's supposed to dry up for the end. But then again, we weren't expecting this rain shower early morning either, so it's going to take a lot to dry this track, isn't it?
It was going to be on-off. We knew from the start of the race that the rain was going to be on and off. Potentially, this was forecast on some weather sites that this was incoming. That it potentially wasn't going to be here for this long. But it might clear up. But whether we get back to full dry times, full dry tyres, not sure. Did you manage to have a kip? You look like you did. Yeah. You look like I did when I rocked up back into the commentary box.
It's a happy medium between. I know that for that short sleep I've had, I'll feel better later. But right now, I feel like
I felt drunk walking up to the paddock.
Rough as toast at the minute, Thomas.
I was taking 2 steps forward and 1 step sideways to try and hold myself up. Had a cup of coffee and I recovered a little bit of energy. But yeah, 2.5 hours sleep in the last 25 hours. Not the best, really, but here we are.
But we know what we're signing up for, don't we, Tom?
do.
As do many of these drivers.
And as we've said all along, wouldn't miss this for the world either. It is, for me, the best event of the year, the one I look forward to the most, certainly in terms of racing. And I include blue ribboned events in that as well. Your Festival of Speed, your British Grand Prix, Le Mans, etc. This is the one that I look forward to the most. And in fact, speaking of which, looking forward to actually going to Le Mans next season, next year, for the car 24-hour race, because it's the centenary year.
Been before?
Never been before.
No.
Always wanted to go. I'm not expecting it in terms of the race itself to be one for the ages, unlike maybe a few years ago when we had the likes of Audi, Porsche, Toyota going at it hammer and tongs for the full 24 hours. However, really looking forward to all the events and the history side of things. I imagine that they're going to have some former winners' cars lapping the circuit and things like that. So really looking forward to my first ever trip to Le Mans next year.
It's just one of them. It's the atmosphere you go for, and anything else is really a bonus.
Yes.
When it comes to an event like that. I, too, have never been, would love to at some point. I think I'm going to wait.
I think you're coming with us next year.
Well, I think I'm going to wait until my boy is old enough, early teens, and take him. So I think that would be that would be quite nice. So I think that's something that I'm probably going to wait a few years on. He's only 9, so we've got
Have
a
you
short
just pied
while.
me off for next year? My invite for you coming,
Thank you. It's greatly appreciated, Tom.
but rejected, denied. Cheers for that. Okay, well, maybe one day, but no, never been before. And of all the years to go, this one is definitely going to be the one in terms of the event that I think the ACO are going to put on. So looking forward to that one.
Just having a look in the live chat, Tom. Chris Fuller says, I ventured down for an early morning spectate. What better way to find out that the waterproof jacket you've packed isn't actually waterproof? Well, got to test it in conditions.
The soggy shoulders.
Yeah. TSG Karting, they've been on saying come on the 158, still running strong.
22nd place.
Yep, going well for the TSG team.
Let's just be honest here. If you're inside the top 20, you've done very, very well here. In owners, if you're inside the top 20, you've done very, very well. If you're inside the top 15 in hires, you've also done very, very well. Massive pat on the back all round to everybody who's made it this far in those positions. I would say outside of the top 20 in owners, you're going to have had various problems, various issues, but you're still going to be there or thereabouts in terms of your class.
Yes.
So there are still class podiums and things like that up for grabs if you're inside the top 20. If you're outside, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to say the very least, but no harm, no foul. Anything can happen in the next 5 hours and 45 minutes, and as we've seen over the years, it will. Soco Select looked so comfortable at the front of this race. They were, 3 laps in the lead, I think, at one point?
Yeah, 2-3 laps. They were going strong. They had that. The first issue they had was when the left engine went down. It was replaced quickly, and they were out. They were still in the lead, albeit on the same lap. And
that was the one that Charlie Bingham was pointing out for about an hour and a half of his thing.
Yes, it was sort of coming on, going off again, sorting itself out. In the end, it was made the decision to change it. And then after that, problems with the 88 Grabex kart with the unsighted into the D chicane, unfortunately. And they found that kart stationary.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it was? Grabex had gone round and Soco had nowhere to go.
Grabex went round after contact with a higher kart in there. Then there was a gaggle of karts coming in. The Grabex kart was parked on the apex with nowhere to go. Couldn't get forward because of the curb. Couldn't go backwards because there's no reverse gear.
And they were right on the racing line.
There was loads of higher karts coming through. They split in each direction, and the 43 was completely unsighted and went into the 88 Grabex kart, unfortunately. At the time, both of those karts leading their class, the 43 overall, the 88 Grabex leading clubman at the time. The leading clubman kart, however, is in the pit lane at 1 hour and 41 minutes for MS Scorchio.
So that'll be a scheduled stop for them. But yeah, just to highlight the fact that anything can happen in this race. Still 5 hours and 43 minutes to go. Nobody is comfortable. SKA Racing have now been out there for an hour and 33 minutes at the front of Hire Pro, just waiting for them to cycle through. Although JS Racing have actually been back in, I think. I think they've been back in 8 minutes. Yeah, they must have. So they've done an extra stop. Which is why they're now a lap behind. So we'll wait for SKA Racing to make their stop and see how the higher class is shaking out at the front of that. Or it's headed totally by 3 pro class runners, with Honolulu Elite entry in 4th. Now a minute and a half behind Honolulu Racing 1 in 3rd overall and 3rd in pro, but back onto the same lap.
Yes, Tom, further down, obviously, just as you can see there right down in 39th place, a 65 kart of Boom has been our leading novice entry pretty much from the get-go here at the British 24-hour. Tom's, I don't know whether he's gone out to cool down or he's gone out to see whether it's still raining, both of which have probably been found out right now. So SKA Racing are due into the pits in a few moments' time. They've eked it out to 1 hour and 38 minutes. Some of the other hires are going to around 1:45, so give it 5 minutes or so and they'll be heading towards the pit lane. That might be when we see the JS Racing close up. I think there's about a lap and a half between those two karts, and we've been seeing roughly about that sort of time for pit stop, so it's going to get very, very tight at the front. We have got a kart, Tom, slowly coming into the pit lane. I think it's the 92 Stilts Racing car. I don't know if they'd had a spin down at hairpin 3, but they're coming in to the pits.
It is still raining out there, but it's very light now. It's probably the lightest it's been for a couple of hours, and the puddles are already clearing, especially on the entry to the D chicane.
Stationary car. It looks ownerish on the outside of
South Bank.
South Bank.
Yeah.
Not sure whose kart it is, but we'll try and find out. Howard did have some binoculars.
We've got full course yellow.
Yeah.
Full course yellow.
That'll be collected then by the recovery quad of Salvation. Tom gets to add another.
Oh, I do. I need to put a tally on there.
Have we not had a full course for a long time, Tom?
We're on 22 now.
Oh, that's fine. We missed some gates. I thought it was 16 when I went in, and we've just added another 5 to the end, to up to 21, now 22 for full course yellows.
So we'll see where this shakes out as well, because of course the field will bunch up. Scorchio have dropped down to 3rd place in club, but SMJC and JDM now at the front of that field, only separated by 0.3 of a second over the line as well, but they both owe us a pit stop fairly shortly. SMJC, I would imagine, having been out there for an hour and 44 or an hour and 41 minutes, will be in under this full course yellow, so we'll keep an eye out for them coming in. I think they're definitely, well, they were very due to come in, very much due to come in. We'll keep an eye on them. Red Graphics is back out now after they had a longer stop while Andrew was still here. Been doing that all day. Omega Racing in for an unscheduled stop. They've only been out 15 minutes, so problems continue for Omega Racing in Owner Pro. They were shown as 15th overall. I've got a feeling they might lose that to Red Graphics if this is a serious issue. Got Century Sim seeming to back up the pack here. In fact, there you go, there's the gap, and that's going to be headed now by Century Sim when they come into shot.
A66, Tom, and the owner.
Oh, again, that's the
entry.
second time they've been recovered in the last probably 2 hours. Paul Swan was recovered earlier on. Do you know who was behind the wheel of that one?
Looked like it could have been Paul Rye, because there was a silver helmet on the top, on the head of the driver. So we're still under full course yellow at the moment. And now we are green again, I believe, or at least being shown as green over stopping. The Battenberg's out on the digi-flag, but the boards are being shown as green at the marshal's posts.
Yeah,
So
Marshall's post showing green, Digiboard still showing the Battenberg, so a little bit of confusion over start-finish, but green board showing throughout the rest of the course, and away we go again.
yeah, digital flags are out now.
So Omega Racing in the pits, as we said, unscheduled stop. They were the only ones, I think, who took advantage of that. SKA Racing not opting to pit under that full course yellow. Neither SMJC.
Well, we say Omega taking advantage. It was only 16 minutes since they were last out.
No, sorry, they weren't. It was unscheduled for Omega.
Yeah, I was thinking
definitely unscheduled for them. But SMJC not taking advantage of the full course yellow. I thought they would have done because they're only just in the lead of JDM. Both of them have been out well over an hour. SMJC an hour and 42 minutes now. JDM an hour and 20. So they're both due in fairly soon. And I genuinely thought SMJC would be in under that full course yellow and take advantage of that. But opting not to, track green and back up to full racing speed. First time over the line, we're going to get some lap times. That's Team Tate with a 1:35. So getting quicker out there. Once again, they were into the 40s at one point. Getting slightly quicker now into the 1:35s. And I imagine as the rain begins to ease off, I'm looking at the puddle that's in front of the commentary box, and there's no rain hitting that, is there, David?
not particularly. And the puddle that was on the inside of the entry into the D chicane is not really filling up at all.
There is.
I mean, it's still coming down, but it's not filling up. Yellow
Yeah.
flag at hairpin 1. We've got a higher cart round, and that's recovered and back into the race.
That's the one. He's got the lights on the helmet, but I'm not sure we saw him during the night. Might have been while I was asleep, but that we were commenting, that myself and Andrew commented. That's the first time we'd seen it, and it was during dawn. So put the lights on your helmet during the daylight.
You imagine the disappointment as he's spent hours doing that.
He has
and
spent hours.
Turns
Yeah,
up, gets
yeah.
his stints, and he's doing daylight only.
Yeah. Got it.
Poor lad.
Omega Racing still in the pits. They are going to be dropping down the order. Red Graphics are going to overtake them imminently for 15th on the road. SKA Racing still out there at the front of Higher Pro. Oh, we're back on the PA.
Good morning, Paddock.
Good morning.
Welcome back here to Teesside. Welcome to the PA. Just as we mentioned that, Tom, change for the lead on track in our owner clubman class. JDM have found a way past SMJC 959. The pace in the JDM car a little bit quicker, 2 seconds or so on that previous lap, and they have managed to find a way through just about the time where both of them are due into the pit lane. SMJC have been out there now for about an hour and 51 minutes, so they are cutting that one very, very fine on the fuel window. With JDM, they've been out an hour and 28. Behind them, MS Scorchio, who were in the lead until they had to come into the pits about 10 minutes ago for their scheduled stop. So we are looking for the SMJC kart to be in the next 2 or 3 minutes. I'm not sure they can they go to 2 hours, Tom, on these only ones in the even though it's wet, can they go to 2 hours? I think they're going to find out.
I would expect that we're going to see a recovery quad before they make it to 2 hours on a tank of fuel here. I know the times are well down, and they've been doing a lot of lifting off and saving of fuel. But yes, they are. I'd be very surprised if they're doing 2 hours.
I would too, Tom.
We've got. We're still waiting on SKA Racing coming into the pits. An hour and 46 now. An hour and 51 for SMJC. So really, really pushing this fuel window. Going to try and All right, 303 Racing are in. They've been out there an hour and 46 minutes, so scheduled stop for them. Omega Racing back in once again for another unscheduled stop as the problems still continue for them. Red Graphics have now overhauled them for 15th place overall.
Just a quick one, Tom.
Yep.
I need to pass on a message to our team captains. Please have a quick look in the WhatsApp group for your team captains. We've got a discussion going on. We will need one person from each team into the cafe in 5 minutes' time. Please check out the WhatsApp group for that, please, and make your way to the cafe.
So is that one member from every team? One member from every single team into the cafe, please. 5-minute warning. We need you there ASAP. There will be a meeting going on in around about 5 minutes' time. So please, one member from every team, make your way up to the cafe for a briefing.
Back to track, we saw a moment ago there was one car off in the green just roughly down the back straight. I think it was a Lessia in the 61, so they could potentially have a problem. They are in the pits now. They are classified in 26th place. Effectively, the final one of the runners in our owners that haven't had a massive problem with a fantastic final sector with a best time of quick.
5.3 second lap, David.
Well,
Should we let you do your Sherlock Holmes and figure out how that happened?
Yes, it's impossible. They went down the back straight and then cut across the grass and then made their way through. Full course yellow, Tom. So we could have a recovery going on somewhere. Can't see anything on the main track, the national circuit in front of us. So that could be down there on the west track that we've got a recovery. Now would be a great time for SMJC 595 to bring themselves to get into the pit lane.
While we are under full course yellow and we're waiting on teams to make some pits and things to shake out a little bit, just while we're waiting for that to happen, we're going to throw to a video that we recorded yesterday, an interview that I did with Adam Deans of Mad Motorsport, currently just inside the top 20. We've got a hire car off here, but not needing recovery at the entrance to the mountain section. So Adam Deans spoke to us, Army veteran. I think he was Army veteran, but got into karting through Kart Force, and we're going to hear a bit about his story and what has brought him here today. I'm joined in the pit lane by Adam Deans of the number 40 Mad Racing team, Mad Motorsport. Adam, tell us a little bit about your history. What brought you into pro karting, and tell us all about yourself.
Well, I'm ex-military, and I started pro karting through karting for injured troops. I joined indoor karting originally. So as part of what Kart Force does is we provide karting to injured veterans with missing digits, using hand controls and that side of things. And then I decided to do some BPEC on my own with my team, Andy Vasili. And then we've kind of just taken it from there really with doing BPEC and doing the British 24, Le Mans 24 as well, which we've just come back from as well. So yeah, we're having quite a lot of fun at the moment, yeah.
It's moving on all the time. Now, tell us all about what happened at Shennington this year, because there's quite a story to tell here, isn't there?
Yes, so I think it's turn 2. It was raining at Shennington. It was quite bad, the rain, to be fair. I came through turn 2, and the guy that followed me through sort of gave me a little nudge, which spun me off. And as a result, I got collected by a gaggle of carts that knocked me clean out, and the driver that hit me was knocked out as well. I got sent off to hospital to have a scan of my head to make sure that there's no serious injuries. And in doing so, they found out that I'd got cancer in my neck, which was thyroid cancer and some cancer in my lymph nodes as well. So yeah, moving on slightly forward from that, I had, it was about a month or two later, I had thyroid cancer removed. And 2 weeks later, I was back in the car again. Literally just
back racing. So the crash at Shennington really is, you know, for all intents and purposes, it saved your life.
Yeah, the surgeon that I spoke to said that if I hadn't had the crash at Shennington and been looked at after that, I could have been looking at 3-4 years down the line with going to the doctors with a big lump on my neck and it possibly being a hell of a lot worse.
Absolutely amazing story. Incredible that these things happen. And, you know, so just moving on a little bit, what tell us about who's in the team this year. What are your chances, or what do you think your chances are? Who else is in the team, etc.?
So my teammates for this year are Andy Vasili, there's Connor Botting and Nico. I mean, they've all been setting really fast lap times through practice.
What class are you running in?
We're running a clubman class.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've been doing really well. Yeah, I think as for the chances, we have just about as much chance as anybody else to have a decent podium.
It's such a long race. Yeah, there's pretty much anybody's in with a shout, aren't they? So you think there's a podium possibility?
Yeah, possible. Who knows though? Anything can happen.
Well, this is going to go out during the race, so we'll give people an update straight away on where you are. But thanks very much for talking to us. And
I mean, can I thank Ange and the Big Pet Paddock, because when I did have my accident, the whole karting community came together. I was carried off like a king from the track in the kart, and everybody's just been so good around the paddock with what's been happening and making sure that I'm
10 seconds.
helped out as and when I need to. So thank you very much.
great stuff and a
Five,
great story. Thanks very much to Adam for taking the time to talk to us. We'll give you an update on his progress in the race. And an update I can give you. That was my voice on the microphone, and now it's my voice on this microphone. 20th place for Mad Motorsport and Adam Deans. And thank you very much to Adam for taking the time to share his story with us. Really, really inspiring tale. An amazing, really stroke of luck, believe it or not, that he actually had that accident, and then that was discovered. And like we said in the interview, it essentially saved his life. Speaking of interviews, could you just give me a mic check?
Hello.
There we go. Right, I'm joined in the commentary box now by Rachel, who is going to... I've asked for a while now for Rachel to come into the box during the 24-hour. Rachel started taking photos here at Teesside, so he's going to give us a bit of a lowdown on what it involves, what kind of kit she's using. 111 just goes off in front of the commentary box and recovers very quickly. They are third overall. Yeah, Rachel's going to run us through all the happenings in photography and how it works for karting. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the commentary box.
Thank you.
So first of all, what brought you to karting and the racetrack in particular?
So I've come karting for about a year and a half now.
Mm-hmm.
I come with Jess, obviously.
That's Jess Alexander, currently in, not currently in 42, I don't think.
No, she just come out.
Just come out of 42, yeah. But leading the race.
Yeah, she was very wet and cold.
I can imagine.
And I bought a camera.
You look wet and cold as well yourself.
I've been standing there near the pits. But yeah, so I've come with her. I've been here for about a year and a half, and I've bought a camera with me literally ever since I came here. I had just like kind of not a cheap, but like kind of anyone could, like a basic body and lens when I first started, and then it kind of got a bit out of hand, and I like kept spending money.
As it tends to do with photography.
Yeah, and I just, to be honest with you, I kept watching people like Stu, Foxy, and Rob Borick and people like that, and I just wanted to like keep learning new things. And our own Gordon, of course. Yeah, and Gordon. Yeah, Gordon's taught me loads of stuff. I went around on a track walk with him. at Warden Law, and he's taught me loads and loads of things about photography.
Gordon Welsh, who's been essentially the BPEC photographer from the beginning, back in the days of EPEC and things like that as well. Huge history of taking karting photos. So you're learning from one of the best.
Yeah, and he told me, it was him actually that told me about which lens to buy next. So I then bought the lens I currently use, which is the 7300, and I basically use it all the time. It doesn't do everything I need it to do, but for now it does all right, and people seem to like the pictures. So
Yeah, well, what happens is you then post them up to Facebook, don't you? So you'll take around about 130, 150 photos, something like that, and then they will just be dumped onto the either the 24-hour karting page or the BPEC pics and photos page, and people can go on there, download them for free, make them their profile pictures, essentially.
Yeah, and I love it. I get my best photos, or the photos that I love taking the most, are the ones like on the dummy grid or in the paddocks of people. I like taking the ones of karts, but it kind of looks the same after a while. And I love like catching people's emotions and like memories they make at karting, because it's brilliant. People love it. So yeah, I really like doing it.
And obviously, well, that's clear to see that you love doing it, and you've been a very, very welcome addition here in the paddock. You've actually managed to get behind the wheel a few times as well.
Yeah, a few times.
Took part in the charity race that we had here last weekend.
Yep.
And how did that go?
Yeah, that was good. I absolutely loved it. I knew I would, and I sat here. I qualified P4, which I was all right about. I wanted a bit better, but P4 was fine. And then I sat here, and I had Jess on comms, and then I had Bella Franklin on comms, so which she was much better than Jess, I have to say.
Giving you advice and tips.
Yeah, she needs a career as a race engineer. She was brilliant. And then I went round, and I finished 5th in the end, which was good. Although Jess wasn't happy, because on comms she was talking to me at the end and I just wasn't speaking at all. But yeah, then I went out again with you and... Yeah,
we went out for a play on Friday, didn't we? There was myself, David, and yourself and Ange Falkus and a few others. Went out for a little play on the track Friday afternoon. No, Thursday afternoon.
Yeah,
Thursday afternoon.
Thursday
Afternoon. It's all blended into one now. We've been here that long. Thursday afternoon, went out for a play, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was brilliant. There was at one point it was me, Ange Falkus, and Rob Mashaw going down straight in the back, 3 wide, going into South Bank. We just all looked at each other like, what are we doing?
Which one's going to back out first?
Yeah,
it's going to be me. No, it's going to be me. No, it's going to be me. We're all backing out of it because, it's brilliant to have you here. Thank you very much for coming and talking to us.
You're welcome.
Long may you continue taking the photos here. You've been a great and welcome addition to the paddock. And it's great to have you with us as always, and thank you for us finally being able to get you on comms as well. So anytime you want to come back and talk us through photography once again, or anything else that you want to update us on, you are more than welcome back in the paddock.
Thank you very much.
Sorry, in the comms box even. It's been a long weekend. Thanks very much for talking to us, Rachel.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, change at the front. SMJC have been in for their stop. And Scorchio have also done a stop, it looks like. And I'm going to bring you up to speed on that potentially, or maybe even Howard will.
Good morning.
Hello. We've got breaking news from Howard.
We have got breaking news from Howard. So Howard's just come back from the CAF, where they've just held...
Oh, the briefing.
A bit of an impromptu briefing. And
we've gone full course yellow.
Yeah, we've gone full course yellow, and we would expect that based off of what was discussed. So
okay. So what was discussed?
Cat Franklin of Teesside Karting laying out the case of the situation with the obviously challenging conditions.
Yes.
The difficulty that the ground is quite hard. It's not draining away, and this circuit is filling up like a bowl.
Yeah.
And laying out the case very clearly to the drivers that you can't do a stop-start approach with this. If you red flag this, you no longer have the 90-yard carts going around and clearing the water. Thus, we either keep going and review, or we call it, and we aren't going to restart it.
Right. But it could be a lengthy red period if we do stop the race.
Essentially, the case was if we stop the race, that is it.
We are
going to stop the race.
Because we are past three-quarters distance now as well.
Yeah, because it will not...
Okay, so we hope that's not going to be the case.
Well, I can tell you that went through to a vote.
Okay.
And the majority decision in the room was that they've got to call it.
Oh, okay.
So, as I understand it now, something I don't like to report, but because we want to go racing as much as possible here, but in the interests of safety, sorry, I should also have added to that case the fact that we would be going full course yellow a lot more often because the marshals, as they are at the post, now can't go to assist the carts. They're having to call out the quad to assist with a much higher percentage of incidents.
Due
because
to them being stuck on the grass. And
yeah,
things
the
like that,
marshals literally can't just, coming out from behind their post, they can't pull the cart out. They're having to retrieve more carts.
Okay.
So in the interests of safety and of just having a race that functions properly, the decision off of that was that we are going to red flag this race. It's going to be done in a controlled manner where they go to full course yellow. They're going to bring all the competitors to a controlled stop. And I believe the plan is then to weigh the competitors to make sure that a proper result can be called for this race. So it's not just going to be brought to a standstill. They're going to do it in a very controlled manner. And the intention then is to, as I understand it, declare a result for this race.
So not sure when, but we are under full course yellow. This will remain until we have a red flag. At that point, the race will be called a result. We will weigh all the drivers, call that as a result, and that will be it for the British 24 hours of 2022.
That is my understanding off the back of that meeting, yes.
Okay.
The two options that were put to the team members assembled were, option one is we carry on for 45 more minutes and see if the rain reduces at all, and they make a judgment call then, or option two, we call an end to it. And the general feeling in the room was that just visibility's poor. There's parts of the track that there isn't an unflooded line in some parts of the track. Certainly the west side of the circuit are filling up with the water.
Just to be clear, the decision has been made. Even though we are under full course yellow, we will not be going racing again, even if it stops raining now.
That is my understanding from that session, yeah.
All right,
That's
okay, so this looks like it could be it then. This could be the result. We've actually got 3 carts in the pits at the moment as well, one of which is SKA Racing.
I should say as well, this is the first time that Kat was saying, the first time she would have stopped a race for weather in 11 years. So this is a big decision.
It's the first time I've known a race being red flagged for weather in all the years that I've been coming here and all the years that certainly we've been covering it. We've had red flags for incidents before, but I mean, very, very rare. In fact, I don't think we've had one for a number of years, to be honest. Any red flags at all, we've run straight through now that we have the option on full course yellows.
As you can imagine, there were a number of teams who were very keen, very passionate about continuing to race. So I don't know if there's further representations being made to Kat, to the officials here, but the decision from that meeting was a clear decision that we should bring this to a controlled stop.
Well, if it's been put to a vote, that's the democratic way of doing things. And thank you very much for bringing that to us, Howard. We'll throw back over to David, and we will discuss that further. Thank you very much, Howard, for doing that and bringing us the info straight away. So it looks like at the moment, this full course yellow will remain until we can bring the race to a controlled stop. There it is. The red flag is out.
5 hours and 15 minutes remaining then, and the 2022 British 24-hour race comes to a close.
So we're very, very sorry to see that happen. Real shame for all of us here as part of Alpha Live. We have loved being here. The 42 has come across the line and taken what is essentially a red and checkered flag here. That will be called a result. 42, MS Lucas Racing, your winner of the British 24-hour 2022 provisionally. These are the results in all classes. MS Lucas Racing taking the overall victory and the elite owner class. Team Tate, TTM Motorsport taking second on the road, and Elite second place as well. MSJSR, the final place on the podium, and also the final place on the podium for Elite. Pro class of owners has gone to Grabex Pro. They have taken victory in Pro, 5th on the road. Nexus Sport finished 4th and in 4th in Elite. Grabex Pro taking 5th on the road, 1st in Pro. TTM2 Rosso Corsa, 6th on the road. They have taken 2nd in Pro. Offline Motorsport, 7th on the road, have taken 3rd in Pro. MS Soco Select finishing 8th. They have taken 5th in Elite. Then we have our Clubman class winners in owners. SMJC 959. They have taken victory in that class, 9th on the road. Finishing off the top 10, second place in Clubman, MS Scorchio. 11th place goes to JDM. They are 3rd in Clubman. Then we have, what I'll do, David, is I'll do 30, you do 30, I'll do 30. Shall we do it that way?
I was going to let you do owners, and I was going to pick up when we got down there to do hires.
Okay, well, right, well, let's do it that way then. So MS Car Shop taking 12th place. 13th place goes to MSD LCR, 14th to 303 Racing, 15th 113 Red Graphics, 16th Grabex Motorsport, 17th Grabex Racing, 18th Omega Racing, 19th Blue Speed Racing, and 20th to Mad Motorsport. 21st X Racing, 22nd TSG Karting, 23rd Harry's Hot Wheels, 24th Rethink Racing 2, 25th Alessia, 26th A66 Racing. 26th A66 Racing. Then we start getting into the hires, so we'll come back to that in a moment. 37th overall was Red 77. A bit further down the order, we've got 58th was Prime 57. Team BPR taking 72nd overall. Then a whole gaggle, 89th onwards. Rethink Racing, Reckless Racing, Dazzle, and HWR, 89th, 90th, 91st, and 92nd, with 93rd place going to our Guinness World Record attempt. Unfortunately, unable to complete the event due to the conditions, and we're very, very sorry to see that for Joe Patterson, but a brilliant effort, and we believe has set a world 12-hour distance record at the very least, so congratulations there. We will throw up the link one more time before the end of the stream for some final donations, and the final runner in owners was DWS Racing, completing 486 laps. MS Lucas, your winners, 796 laps completed. David, take us through the owners. Hires even,
in our hire class, the overall win went to one of our pro runners, the 67 of SKA Racing, in front of JS Racing and a Honolulu Racing 1. All three of those, the top three in our pro class. Then our elite winner, Honolulu by Saints, taking victory in that class in 30th place. Then we've got our leading clubman runner at TYS Racing with Core Blimey Racing in 32nd. They'll take second place in the elite class. A66 Hire, last year's clubman winner, they're going to go home with the second place trophy in that class this year, with EDKT, the final team on the elite podium in 34, in front of Race for Ruben, last year's outright race winner. The final runner on the clubman podium is Scenario 77. They finish in 36th place, with Benato in 38th, and Honolulu Friends by Saints, the fourth elite runner, in 39th. Then we have CSM in 40th place, with Norfolk 41st. Then we've got Boneheads in 42nd, and Maple Motorsport in 43rd. 44th, Eat, Sleep, Race, Repeat. And then in 45th, we have our leading novice runner. Amazingly, half of these drivers had never met each other before this weekend, and V3 Racing take victory in our higher novice class from long-term race leaders Boom, who will have to settle for second place and come back next year and try and take that trophy. Good Chip, they finish in 47th place in front of Newmarket Hornets. And then the final runner on our novice podium, Newmarket Buzzing Hornets, in 49th place. 50th, we've got Badgers Best Racing. We're Topworth Motorsports in 51st. and the Core Blimey 213 entry in 52nd. Then we have Chadwick Racing, who were right down at the bottom of the pile on the opening lap of this race in 53rd place. Great recovery drive from them in front of Honolulu Juniors in 54th and Porsche Sport in 55th. In 56th, LC Racing with Lockstock in 57th and Coulda Woulda Shoulda in 59th, with Simtech Super Pink completing the top 60. Plenty more higher runners to come though. In 61st we have up the rear, Renowned Ankles are in 62nd, with CFK Granada, the Spanish entry, in 63rd place, with Core Blimey 313 in 64th. Receding Racing are classified in 65th place, with Century Sim Racing recovering after a treacherous opening 6 hours to 67th. Piston Broke are in 68th, with Lads Racing 69th. Then we've got Cheshire in 70th, with Garage 29 Graphics in 71st. 73rd, Century Sim Evolution in front of Steel City Racers, and then BCW Mulsanne Racing in 75th, with Simtech Spinella in 76th. 77th, ABC Racing in front of Straight Through Crew, with BTM in 79th and Veterans Motorsport UK in 80th place. 81st, Core Blimey 413, they're in front of Stilts Racing, with the Optimist in 23rd. Potters Boys, they finish their first 24-hour in 84th place, with Barp 85th. Teesside Tigers, who ran well early on, they went into problems and they'll finish in 86th place in front of Full Throttle Racing and Dukes of Stafford. And then our remaining 2 runners in the higher class, Simtech UK in 94th, and the 24 Hours for Diabetes UK completes our 96 higher runners here in the 2022 British 24-hour race.
Thank you very much for tuning in. We are going to keep the stream going a little bit longer, just in case there are any dramatic changes. I don't think there are going to be. We believe this is called and this is the result, but we are just going to keep the stream going for the time being. We're going to play out some interviews while we get ourselves set up for, at the very least, some post-race interviews and things like that, if we can bring those to you. But for now, we're going to pass over to some interviews that we pre-recorded over the course of the weekend under these red flag conditions. So please stay with us on the stream, and we will endeavour to bring you an update in around about 20 minutes' time with what is going to be a final decision.
I'm joined in the pit lane by Adam Deans of the number 40 MAD racing team, MAD Motorsport. Adam, tell us a little bit about your history. What brought you into pro karting, and tell us all about yourself.
Well, I'm ex-military, and I started pro karting through karting for injured troops. I joined indoor karting originally. So as part of what Kart Force does is we provide karting to injured veterans with missing digits, using hand controls and that side of things. And then I decided to do some BPEC on my own with my team, Andy Vasili. And then we've kind of just taken it from there, really, with doing BPEC and doing the British 24, Le Mans 24 as well, which we've just come back from as well. So yeah, we're having quite a lot of fun at the moment, yeah.
It's moving on all the time. Now, tell us all about what happened at Shennington this year, because there's quite a story to tell here, isn't there?
Yes, so I think it's turn 2. It was raining at Shennington. It was quite bad, the rain, to be fair. I came through turn 2, and the guy that followed me through sort of gave me a little nudge, which spun me off. And as a result, I got collected by a gaggle of carts that knocked me clean out, and the driver that hit me was knocked out as well. I got sent off to hospital to have a scan of my head to make sure that there's no serious injuries. And in doing so, they found out that I'd got cancer in my neck, which was thyroid cancer and some cancer in my lymph nodes as well. So yeah, moving on slightly forward from that, I had, it was about a month or two later, I had thyroid cancer removed. And 2 weeks later, I was back in the car again. Literally just
back racing. So the crash at Shennington really is, you know, for all intents and purposes, it saved your life.
Yeah, the surgeon that I spoke to said that if I hadn't had the crash at Shennington and been looked at after that, I could have been looking at 3-4 years down the line with going to the doctors with a big lump on my neck and it possibly being a hell of a lot worse.
Absolutely amazing story. Incredible that these things happen. And, you know, despite a crash, very, very fortunate. So just moving on a little bit, tell us about who's in the team this year. What are your chances, or what do you think your chances are? Who else is in the team, etc.?
So my teammates for this year are Andy Vasili, there's Connor Botting and Nico. I mean, they've all been setting really fast lap times through practice.
What class are you running in?
We're running a clubman class.
Okay.
Yeah, so they've been doing really well. Yeah, I think as for the chances, we have just about as much chance as anybody else to have a decent podium.
It's such a long race. Yeah, there's pretty much anybody's in with a shout, aren't they? So you think there's a podium possibility?
Yeah, possible. Who knows though? Anything can happen.
Well, this is going to go out during the race, so we'll give people an update straight away on where you are. But thanks very much for talking to us. And
I mean, can I thank Ange and the Big Pet Paddock, because when I did have my accident, the whole karting community came together. I was carried off like a king from the track in the kart, and everybody's just been so good around the paddock with what's been happening and making sure that I'm helped out as and when I need to. So thank you very much.
Great stuff and a great story. Thanks very much to Adam for taking the time to talk to us, and we'll give you an update on his progress in the race. I am joined in the pit lane on Friday, it is today, with a very special entrant to this year's British 24-hour. It's Mr. Joe Patterson. Joe is attempting a 24-hour solo kart record, so a distance record, furthest distance in 24 hours. Joe, first of all, talk us through, I mean, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you putting yourself through this?
I've always said I would like to do it. It's kind of like a bucket list. But like you say, you always say you're going to do it, but you kind of don't. But then, obviously, the situation with Dottie, my niece, with her brain tumour, inoperable brain tumour, it was kind of like, you know what, now's the time. I know Ian done it last year, and then I thought, right, well, yeah, let's go for it and see what we can do now.
Okay, well, Dottie's here with us, so absolutely gorgeous, as always, and Dottie's here, and this is all for her. There's lots of badges that you'll see around the paddock. I've got one on. This is Dottie's journey. So stickers on the cart as well. Talk us through the charity, how it's going to work, and talk us through Dottie's story.
So yeah, so we've got a Dottie's Journey Trust. She's got a Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, and it is basically all for her in aid of, hopefully one day maybe out there is a future treatment for her, but or worst case it'll be just future care. So just to get by just for your life, because she's always going to have it, and yeah, it's just because it is expensive. Care is expensive, and that's why I'm trying to do as much as I can for her as an uncle.
So we're purely raising money for the Dottie's Journey. We'll put a link up on the stream as well. So is it a Just Giving link, I think, and we'll or something along those lines, and we'll make sure that it's up and there's donations coming in. So talk us through what's going to happen this weekend. I mean, your prep work initially. What have you been doing physically to prepare for this mammoth effort? And then also, what have you been eating and things like that? And then what are you going to be eating through the race to keep yourself in check?
So basically, I have done. I've signed up with Adam with the BPEC series. I've raced with Scottish in Red Racing. Just again, get back in the go-kart. I've been out the go-kart for 6 years now. So I'll be doing that. I'll be doing a lot of gym work, keeping fit, watching what I eat, eating a lot better. Cut it like last 2 weeks now. No fizzy drinks whatsoever. Just trying to get that all out of my system, and just basically looking after myself. So really, I'm doing all of this that I'm going to be absolutely dead by the end of it. But for Dotty, but it's making me a lot better, healthier wise as well, which is good.
And during the race, what are you going to be? How are you going to be taking care of yourself? Have you got pre-planned rest breaks, or is it just going to be as and when? Are you trying to go for as long as possible initially and then have a break? Talk us through that.
So we have got strategies, option A, B, C, D. We're going to go through that today, but we have got rest periods. But I think the longest rest period I've got is an hour, barring everything going to plan. But realistically, I kind of don't want to do that, because once my adrenaline comes out and then I go back out in the car, that obviously you'll start feeling the bumps and bruises. So realistically, if I can have 15 minutes here, maybe a half hour there, it should be okay. But it all depends on the weather of the day. Hopefully reliability is good, and then if that's okay, I have no doubt in myself that I should be okay and healthy and ready to go.
Okay, well, it is. We're looking at a bit of wet weather throughout the race as well, so hopefully that might make things a little bit easier physically for you. But certainly, in terms of pace, that could be an interesting proposition. You know, certainly for the record. So we'll keep our eye on it throughout the race. Of course, we'll cut.
We have a base lap time. Oh, sorry. We have a base lap time of 1 minute 15. And we've gauged all our options over 966 laps, but we need 928 to break. So that's what we've gauged it by. 1 minute 15 is that target time.
So 928 laps to break the record, and you reckon he's aiming for 966. So we'll certainly keep our eye on the progress throughout the race. So we're going to meet your sister Louise in a moment, who's Dottie's mum. And she's going to walk us through this sticker kit. But just run us through who else is in the team, who's here supporting you this weekend and part of the team.
Yeah. So obviously I've got Dottie. I've got my brother-in-law John / mechanic. I've got my sister Bella and Lily. They're the cheerleaders. My wife will be here soon. She's here. And my two kids, Stanley and Flo. My brother, part of the pit crew, and my dad, who is basically Ross Braun. He's the chief, the team leader, the main man.
So the massive support network as well to keep you going, and they'll be on the radio, I'm sure, throughout, keeping you motivated. So what I'm going to do now is send you away, because Louise is going to run us through the very special sticker kit, which has not been revealed yet. It's a big surprise for Joe. So Louise is going to run us through that, and Joe's going to go out of earshot, and we'll bring you that. Thank you for talking to us. Much appreciated. So in you come, Louise. So Joe's going to go out of earshot and talk us through the sticker kit then.
We're lucky that Danielle from Red Graphics has taken on Joe, also from Apollo Racing. So it is his colours, the bright, like high yellows and greens, but it's also got photographs of all the family on it. Photographs of Dottie's journey, and all his sponsors. So also alongside Children with Cancer UK, who've helped us as a family. So I'm looking forward. We're going to hopefully reveal it first thing in the morning to him. So it's going to be a bit of a nice surprise.
Brilliant, and we'll have a look at that as soon as I'm sure we cut back to the stream. But thank you very much for talking to us. It sounds like a brilliant, not only a brilliant charity and a brilliant effort, and a brilliant sticker kit as well. So thank you very much for talking to us.
Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome back to the live stream and the commentary box here at Teesside Autodrome. We have had confirmation that unfortunately the 2022 British 24-hour race has been classified at 18 hours and 45 minutes. The race will not resume because of the inclement weather here in the northeast. As you can see there on track at the bottom of the mountain section on the west track, there's no clear path through all of that standing water. Alongside me is a gentleman that's been out there and he will be able to tell us a little bit about it. Our race winner in our higher novice class, meeting some of his fellow drivers for the first time. Hussein Al, welcome to the commentary box. First of all, congratulations on taking a class victory.
Well, thank you guys for having me here. But yeah, it was a very good race on our end. It started with qualifying on pole in our class, but also 7th overall. Thanks to Owen Blythe, and that's one of our sim racing driver, which I have met actually this Monday, or last Monday that passed her. And same as with the other 4 guys that I raced with, John Halliwell and Usher Blythe is actually a member of the team as well, which everyone knows. And also Dan and Mike Skeppers. But yeah, it was a very lovely race. The conditions were a bit tough out there, but we do have the drivers that obviously were able to take the win home. So yeah, it was very great. Obviously, want to thank Gary Blythe, which he helped a lot with the tips for the track. Yeah, very good. And yeah, it was amazing. It was an amazing race.
Yeah, very difficult conditions. Obviously, it started raining in the early hours this morning. Though, when I rejoined commentary at 6 o'clock, the conditions look very, very difficult. The rain very persistent. Puddles since then have started to grow. Hence why we've had to bring this race to a close. Looking at this part of the track, what was it like out there when you're in the seat? Visibility-wise, safety-wise, obviously. What was it like out there?
Visibility was the key here. And obviously there's a reason why they decided to red flag the race. And I mean, we all agree that this was the right decision. It is unfortunate for the team that finished P2 because they were leading by a long time there, but they had an issue with the engine. But, you know, it's racing. Same as on a sim, same as in real life. Stuff like that happen. But we were happy to be consistent. We had no penalties. The team stayed focused the whole well, not the 24-hour, but 18 hours if you want to say so. But yeah, everyone was just pushing absolutely to the limit. And when it came to the rain, yeah, we did back off a little bit, so that way there was no incidents, and we just trying to give space to everyone around us, and we just maintained the gap to obviously lead and win the race.
Insane, thank you very, very much. I'll steal that headset back off you. Might even hand mine over to Mr. Butterworth because we've got SMJC who's joined us as well here in the commentary box.
Thank you.
So, Tom, you're going to get that headset on, and I'll let you just get yourself settled back in. I will hand mine over as well to another one of our class winners.
Yes, so if you are just joining us, as you can see on screen, Bristol 24 Hour has been called as a result due to the rain that is still teeming down here. Huge amounts of standing water on circuit, and they have been unable to be cleared by the carts running round, so it's only going to get worse from here. And on safety grounds, a democratic vote was called for amongst the 96 runners here, and it was voted overwhelmingly for a calling of the results. So with that in mind, owner, I've been doing this all race, owner, clubman, winners, SMJC 959. Joining me here in the box is Martin Joyce. Martin, how are you feeling?
Fantastic.
Did you actually manage to get any sleep at all during the 24 hour?
No, not at all. My job is do a couple of stints, then I managed the team through the night, and I would have been doing another one at the end.
Okay.
The team just ground the night away through all the rain. Nick, James, Max, Craig, they just ground the night through. Never changed tyres.
Right.
Did the whole race, dry pressures, single set of tyres.
Okay. And just picked their way through, kept the nose clean. Was there an incident early doors, if my memory serves me right, in the first few hours?
Yeah, that was mine, unfortunately.
Okay, well, I'm not here to embarrass you. I just wanted to know, that held you back slightly, but then it was just head down. I'd imagine it was just head down, keep out of trouble.
Classic endurance.
Fast as you can.
You just put your laps in.
And let everybody else fall apart around you.
Exactly.
Taking the class win. 34 seconds in the end from MS Scorchio, who were then a further 14 seconds ahead of JDM. So very close.
Yeah, they were really unlucky. They caught a puddle or something 1 lap before the end, and we were through.
Right.
Took the win.
Yeah.
So it was really close. The three of us were on the podium. Who knows what would have happened? We were going to go onto fresh rubber for the last 5.5 hours. We were just about to put them on.
Yeah. So, because you went for a mammoth stint as well. It was about an hour and 50 minutes or so, whoever took the final stint.
Well, before that was Nick. Before that, James did 2 hour and 1 minute, and then
Wow.
1:53 back to back.
So 3 hours 54 minutes in the cart.
Yep.
In the rain.
Yep.
Okay.
Like I said, the guys.
We'll get the Calpol and Benadryl at the ready, shall we, for that one?
He was pushing the cart through for stops after that. He's a monster.
Okay, well, that is a brilliant result. Thank you very much for coming up to the commentary box to talk to us. We are going to try and get all our class winners, a member from all our class winners, up here. But thank you very much, Martin, for joining us and taking us through your race. Winner of your owner clubman class, 9th place overall, SMJC 959. I'm going to hand back to David in a second, and we are going to have joining us now in the box our overall race winner. So I will hand the headset over to Jess Alexander. That's you, that's me, yes. And we're waiting on some other team members coming up. We are still, sorry, this is just because this is going out over the PA as well.
If they're not here by the time we've interviewed Jess, we will bring it to a close,
so
you and I, Tom.
We're looking for somebody from 67.25 to Grabex Pro 8. And my scrolling isn't working on here. I need the...
well, that'll be it. That's the four of them, I think, is there? Oh, no,
we've got
TYS in height is number 2.
Someone from V3 Race.
No, we just spoke to saying, yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so that's it. So we're looking for 25 to 67 and 8. If one of your members could please come to the commentary box, we will give you an interview as a class winner. And I will hand over the headset to Jess.
Jessica Alexander joins me in the commentary box. We'll now refer to her by her official title, Jessica Alexander, British 24-hour race winner 2022. Looked like fun out there. And by fun, I mean not at all fun.
Probably the wettest I've been in a long time. Yeah, it was a bit sketchy in the dark. You couldn't really see very much. The puddles are pretty bad. It's not the way we want to win the race, you know. That's the bit that's a bit of a shame. But yeah, so yeah, the weather made it fun. It kept us on our toes, and obviously the spray from some of the groups of corporate karts just made it impossible to see where you were going.
What I would say regarding not being the way that you wanted to win it, you have consistently been in the front 1 or 2 for the bulk of this race. I don't think anybody's going to begrudge you the victory given the outright pace that the 42 has had for most of this race. Ran pretty much trouble-free, I think, for most of it, where other teams have had 1 or 2 issues and paid dividends really towards the end. You were looking comfortable out at the front with the stops looked to be going as you wanted. We got to the morning. That's generally where things start. The plan formulates to get you to the end with the optimum strategy. So, outright victory. Obviously, you say not the way you wanted, but still nonetheless thoroughly deserved.
Yeah, I think we didn't fluke it. We didn't win it by fluke. But obviously, that would have gone down to the wire with the 318 with Team Tate behind us. So it would have been good to see that one out. And obviously they were very, very fast in the night. But yeah, we were in the lead. We'd been in the lead for a while. We hadn't had any problems. We had a puncture in the night. I was actually asleep when that happened, so that was news to me when I woke up. But other than that, we'd been pretty much safe the whole way through. We did lose an engine just before the end. I think just got full of water, and so we managed to get that going again without needing to change it. But But other than that, we had a trouble-free run. Everybody drove very well. Stops were good, and that's what it's about for a 24-hour race.
Yeah, we've seen so many times, I mean, particularly towards the end of last year's race when it came down really heavy in terms of rain, probably twice as heavy as it is now, but it was only for around about 20 minutes where some of the engines were just cutting out completely because of the amount of water getting in them. So it's not surprising that you have probably had that engine go down, but you managed to get it restarted and get it back out there with, I'll say, in the nick of time, maybe 2 minutes or so before Team Tate would have been right there towards the end of this race. You'll be back next year, I assume, to defend it.
I will be back next year to defend it. That's certainly the plan. This is my favourite race of the year. I love coming to do this. I think we all love coming to do this. That's why we're all still standing out in the pouring rain, soaking wet. But yeah, we need some sleep. We need some time to dry off. Time to dry all the soggy kit that's currently in the motorhome, and then we'll be ready to go again.
Jess, wonderful. Thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, and once again, congratulations to yourself and the other drivers in that MS Lucas Racing 42 kart. Jessica Alexander, Brandon Williams, Jake Brooker, Sam Fowler and Ryan Cannon, your outright winners here in the 2022 British 24-hour race. If you're wondering 100% why we've red flagged it, that's what the car park looks like as well. One thing I wouldn't want to be is the owner of that red tent there in the background, which appears to be floating down there in the car park here at Teesside Karting.
I hope they're not asleep.
Well, if they are, they're going to wake up to a bit of a shock as the waves are lapping at their feet. Jess, I'm going to ask you to hand that headset back to Tom, and Tom and I will bring this 2022 race to a close. He's currently doing a grand job of cleaning the commentary box floor for us. I don't know if he fancies doing a bit more on comms or whether he thinks his shift is done. He's coming back. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Tom. Jess, once again, congratulations to yourself.
Thanks,
and
David.
all of MS Lucas Racing. It does, unfortunately, mean that as much as Tom and I would and probably could fill out this stream till midday with just general chat and humorous content.
We could go for days, couldn't we? It's not like we haven't done this before. Yeah, real shame that it's had to end this way, but the right decision has been made, fully supported by an overwhelming majority of the teams and also here in the commentary box as well.
We've got actually standing puddles now on the inside of the hairpins.
Oh, there's standing water everywhere. The exit of the Wiggles here, where there's another puddle appears. Coming up on Alpha Live, next weekend we have the Kart Masters weekend. It starts on Friday, goes right through Friday, Saturday, and the finals on Sunday to assign the GP plate for the year. Coming up, we've also got TCR UK at Castle Combe as well to bring you. So stay tuned, like, subscribe, all of that stuff for Alpha Live. As always, it's an emotional end to a 24-hour race here. I always have deep feelings for this event, especially at the end, and I'm already missing it and looking forward to next year because it is such a brilliant event. We love coming here.
It's a special event, Tom, that unfortunately has drawn to an early end this year. Massive thank you. We'll start with the marshals, Tom, who put in, even when it's dry, put in a huge shift at this British 24-hour. Even more so today in conditions and visibility levels that weren't fantastic, which has played a huge part in this race.
Many of them take part in some way or another in the Owner Driver Sprint series and have volunteered their services for this weekend as well. Of course, we've seen Nigel Moore out there putting in one hell of a shift, dragging carts back, jumping on them, with wheels missing and things like that, and dragging them out of the mud, and various others as well. Amazing effort by all the marshals here, and we applaud them. Also, the safety teams. We would like to thank Kat and Paul for having us once again. Always a pleasure to be here. Thank you to all our competitors as well.
Echo that sentiments, Tom. We are obviously
and also
closing
thank
earlier.
you to Andrew and Howard.
I was going to get there. Don't you?
Oh
worry.
right, okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
I was going to say I was echo the sentiments as we bring this stream to a premature end. From Myself, Tom Butterworth, Andrew Mather and Howard Mitchell on commentary. All of the Alpha Live team that have been out there on the cameras as well. And both Adam and DJ for keeping us entertained, producing, directing. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again on the Alpha Live network. Hopefully we'll see you back here in 2023 for a much drier British 24-hour race. But we'll certainly see you back here in September for the Sprint Series. For this wonderful, wonderful track. Thank you for joining us again. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Unfortunately, it can't be with us. We'll see you again soon. Until then, stay dry.